They really are talking.
This is going to be the punk rock episode where you hear a lot of background noise.
Yes.
We are recording in my apartment right now, which is on a very busy street in my town. The unit right next to me is having people move into it, I think, or right below me. I can't tell, but there's a lot of thudding and stuff, and you're going to hear background noise, okay? Listen, eventually we'll have a space. If more you fuckers subscribe to the goddamn Patreon, we'd have the money for it. By the way, we can see how many of you are listening to the free episodes. We can see you.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, we deserve to be in a freaking studio apartment like the ape.
We get what would be our picture on the wall? Well, we know what it would be.
Yeah. And if you guys want to get that joke, you have to listen to all of our Patreon episodes.
You have to listen to every episode, and you'll be like pasting pictures on the wall and drawing like red.
Yes, you'll be like, wait, it's all connected.
Oh my god. Yeah, you have to really listen hard to understand what that joke means. So we're going to talk about William Monahan, a name that I would venture to say nobody ever, not just now, ever listening to this knows.
I didn't know until you told me who he was. I had seen stuff he had done, but I didn't clock who he was.
He's not a celebrity. He is not an Aaron Sorkin. He's not a Patty Chayefsky. He's not a Woody Allen. He's not a Billy Wilder. He's not endless other names you might know if you're a cinephile. William Monahan is a screenwriter of a couple of good movies and a bunch of dog shit. He is one of my favorite writers, I will say. He has had a very tremendous influence on me in terms of his philosophy in his writing, but just his philosophy, like in interviews. His writing has had a big influence. I've read everything I can find that he's typed. I have consumed every interview that there is, and it's not video. He has if you go on YouTube and you search William Monahan, you will find somewhere between 5 and 10 videos of him in it. Some of them are like a minute long, and it's him on the red carpet of one of his shitty movies. And he's just answering so what's it like to work with Leonardo DiCaprio? He's like, oh, it's great.
It's cool. Awesome. Thank you for asking.
But he gives very good interviews, but his thing is always I don't want to be on camera. So I'm just going to talk to a guy with a cassette and it'll be typed up. But I've consumed everything you can of his. I'm going to make a bold statement. I think I know more about him than 99.9% of people on Earth who haven't met him.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that.
So you've seen 4 of them, right? Kingdom of Heaven, Departed, Mojave.
The Tender Bar.
Marlowe.
Yeah, 4.
5.
5, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So you've seen a little over half. Things you start to notice certain things, but you'll notice a lot more if you read his interviews, because he talks openly about his influences. He doesn't try to hide that at all. Mm-hmm. And you start to notice, everything he writes, people are always talking about literature. People are constantly referencing Joyce.
Oh, especially Mojave.
Especially in Mojave. But in The Departed, there's that scene where it's they say that families are always rising or falling in America. Who said that? Hawthorne. People are always quoting.
Yes, the famous quote where they're talking about Sigmund Freud and they say the Irish are immune to psychoanalysis.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
he has his interests and he has his things he knows about. He is an extremely intelligent person.
I believe that.
He's pretty well. Not pretty well. He is more well read than probably most people on Earth. He's been a prodigious reader since he was a small child. The character Oscar Isaac plays in Mojave, I think he's putting a lot of himself in that. He puts a lot of himself in a lot of his characters. But I didn't know who he was or give a shit about him at all until I just randomly decided to look up. I love the movie The Departed, and I have ever since I first saw it. And there was one day I was at my grandma's house. I still remember. I just was looking at him on Wikipedia. I'm like, who is this guy? Because when I look at his IMDb, everything on it looks like shit. And then there's this masterpiece, or at least in my opinion, masterpiece. Mm-hmm. And I discovered he wrote this book, and I was like, let me order that on Amazon. It was available at the time, Lighthouse, which I've now given to you. You've read
I'm halfway through it right now. Yeah.
What do you think?
I do like it so far. The way he writes is very dense. Dense in the sense of a lot of words that sometimes I've seen once in my life. A lot of very flowery language, which I do like, but I'm looking at it and I'm like having to reread a sentence and I'm like, oh man.
In that book, there's a lot of big words in that book.
Yes, I'm an idiot, so it's taken me longer. But I do like it so far. He has a lot of funny jokes that are intelligently written. Mm-hmm. You can tell it's humor for smart people, not lowbrow at all. There's he describes this one guy who has a wife who hates him, and he's just very meek. And he says the mental imagery is fantastic in Lighthouse. He says he walks out in a cuckold's cardigan. And I read that, and that was the moment where, like, the first chapter or two didn't really grab me, but it wasn't bad. And I read that and I said, I see. I'm starting to get the vision. Yeah.
He describes his wife as having tits like rockets.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of descriptions in that book that still live with me. The stuff with Mr. Glowry, the man who's losing his mind.
Yes.
and he says it.
Yes. Oh, he says it.
Yeah. And that book also, just like everything he does, everything William Monahan does, he always works in, he has this like mantra that film, he considers himself a screenwriter first. He considers himself a screenwriter who has done other kinds of writing. And he says that his influence to make things period was watching Lawrence of Arabia and realizing that that was not directed, it was written. Mm-hmm. And I guess Robert Bolt's screenplays, and he was the writer of Lawrence of Arabia and some other good movies, some which also directed by David Lean. He was very much explaining on paper, this is exactly how the movie's going to look. This is what this shot is going to be. This is when you're going to cut, whatever. And David Lean kind of just followed that because it was just, why change it? Because it was just kind of perfect. Yeah. And William Monahan took inspiration from that. And his scripts are very visual. And most screenplays are kind of just like interior, location. These actors are doing this thing, and then their dialogue.
Yes, and it's up to the director to interpret that the way that they will. And I do respect that as a certain thing of like, hey, I'm writing this, jackass. This is my vision. Mm-hmm. This is what I am thinking and feeling and what people should be looking at when these words are said or when this action is taken. You are right. When I read a lot of screenplays, I don't really see a ton of direction like that.
Yeah, even in screenplays written by directors who are going to direct their own movie, they often don't. But William Monahan's screenplays are full of specific direction. Every line of dialogue has a parenthetical explaining how it's to be delivered, which is pretty rare in screenplays. You usually only have that when you need it, where maybe the words that are being said aren't specific enough for it to be clear exactly how it's supposed to be delivered. His screenplay for Kingdom of Heaven, I swear to God, literally every line of dialogue has a parenthetical explaining what the emotion behind the line of dialogue is. And I think that's fine. I think you should be allowed to do that, but that is just a big no-no in Hollywood. And William Monahan he was just the guy who didn't know any better and just came at it from his background he was like a literary critic. He worked for Spy magazine. He was now a novelist, published novelist. That novel got optioned, Lighthouse, to be a movie. He was like, I'm only going to allow this to be optioned if I can write the screenplay. That was his way of getting into Hollywood. He then started writing movies, and I guess just the quality of his writing and the confidence of him was enough for him breaking all of these rules to not be enough to get him just his scripts thrown in the trash.
Did Lighthouse ever become a movie?
No. Oh. It was going to be directed, by the way, by Gore Verbinski, the guy who did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
And A Cure for Wellness.
Oh, so this was in good hands.
It was in very good hands. Yeah, it never got made. It was just one of those things. I mean, like, I'm sure every day there's books that are optioned and scripts that are written for movies that never get made. But he wrote this book, and it's a really good book. I like it a lot. It didn't really go anywhere. It did decent sales for a first novel by an unknown guy, pretty much. But William Monahan, I think he was like in his mid-30s when he entered Hollywood. He was not thinking he was going to be a screenwriter forever, but he did hit a point in his life where he drove out into the desert and he looked at the sun setting and he said, what am I going to do with my life? And he decided, I'm going to go head on into film. And he wrote a script called Tripoli based on real life story, a real life account of a man named William Eaton, who was a man who worked in the U.S. Navy, and led this campaign to save these American sailors who had been captured in Tripoli by these like Berbers during the Jefferson presidency.
So early 1800s, I believe.
Yeah,
Wait, no.
Ish. America had been a country for not that long. Yeah, so, I read the screenplay in there.
Yeah, so early 1800s.
Yes.
This was before, like around 1800, 1810, I believe is Jefferson. Yeah.
In the script, there's dialogue about how America is this like baby country that no one's scared of yet. Mm-hmm. And they haven't really amassed a navy yet. But he wrote the screenplay. It got a lot of attention. It got the attention of Ridley Scott, who had a meeting with him to option the rights to the screenplay to make it into a movie. They started pre-production. It was going to star Russell Crowe as William Eaton. And then Master and Commander came out, which is like pretty much the same era, and also Russell Crowe doing a similar thing in the Navy. And then they were like, ooh, this kind of hurts us a little bit. It's going to be a little harder. Because at that time, it was a thing of like, you can't have two similar movies in the same era. And I guess for other reasons, too, it just didn't come together. And then Ridley Scott still wanted to work with Monahan. And he said, can you write me something else? What are you interested in? And Monahan's, apparently his response was The Crusades. And Ridley Scott had wanted forever to make a Crusades movie. And he's like, this is my guy.
Yes.
And that's how Kingdom of Heaven came to be.
This is actually one of the reasons why we became better friends, is because we were talking one day and I was just like, oh yeah, I don't really, I haven't seen like a lot of historical epics or like Christian movies. And I said, except Kingdom of Heaven, which you could only buy the director's cut on Blu-ray. You couldn't stream it anywhere legally. And Caleb was like, oh, Nick, I'm going to kiss you. It's just like, you like Kingdom of Heaven director's cut too. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I love this. And I never watched it because it just looked, I didn't know about the director's cut thing, but the theatrical cut is like, by the way, like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's missing a full hour.
It's on. Yeah. And that hour is important.
The most talented editor in the world couldn't cut out 20 minutes from that director's cut and have it still work as well. You need all that stuff. Like the director's cut as it is the essentials. But I avoided it because it was always so poorly reviewed. Then you realize why, which is the poorly reviewed version is the butchered version. And then once I got into William Monahan and I read his interviews and he talked about how it was butchered and everything, I was like, oh, I need to find this director's cut. And then I discovered one of my favorite movies.
Yes. That was one thing where I wasn't aware of William Monahan's like writing career at this point, but I was aware of Ridley Scott. And
the master.
When watching that for the first time, I was kind of blown away at how every single character was interesting. The good, the bad, anyone in between. I was like, oh my God, everybody is like, there's a weird like brotherly compassion between all the men in that movie. Liam Neeson, Jeremy Irons, Edward Norton as King Baldwin, which is insane. Yeah. Everybody has, if you're our age, you've probably seen like the Sigma male edits of King Baldwin, like saying like, shut up woman.
The meme of
an incel is talking.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, I wonder how many sales for like physical versions came from those memes.
Who knows? Because,
like I said, the director's cut, and when you Google this, the first thing that comes up is director's cut better than other version. And it's like, yeah. It is like the definitive director's cut. Yep. So I wonder, since it just got a 4K release like a month ago, I wonder if that is the reason why, is because of like meme word of mouth.
Who knows? We probably could figure it out if we tried to look into it. But it seems like people are discovering that this is a masterpiece, like a hidden gem.
It is the reason why I watched the movie, not like the modern memes, but like seeing King Baldwin and like his look and his outfit. I'm like, that looks fucking cool. Really? And I'm like, I need to buy the Blu-ray right now.
So as you probably saw on my TV when I rented Mojave, I've owned the director's cut digitally since 2022, I think, is when I first watched it. And I was like just blown away by it. And when I started it, I didn't know Edward Norton was in it. I didn't know anything. I just knew.
He's not really advertised.
I just know. And you don't see his face once.
Never.
Well, when you see his face, it's not Edward Norton's face.
It's something else.
But Edward Norton is like so good. I told Victoria, because when I rewatched it for this episode, I told her, I said, try to see if you can guess who this is. And she's like, I have no idea.
Even the voice is quite different.
He's doing, And it works so well. It's a egoless performance because you do not see him and it's not obvious it's him and he's not top billed or anything.
Didn't they offer him a like more starring role with his face in the movie?
I don't know.
There's something I heard where they were trying to offer him. I don't know if it was what Liam Neeson was going to be or if it was Balian himself. I'm not sure, but I know he was going to have like a more visible part in the movie. And then he's like, can I be King Baldwin? And they're like, well, we have some guy who's reading for it already. He's just like, hey, you can pay me like less. I just want to be King Baldwin. And they're like, well, sure.
I love that they went with him.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It is great.
The casting in this movie, for the most part, is pretty perfect. I don't love Orlando Bloom as an actor in anything. And I think that he's fine in this movie. I mean, he's the lead and he's playing a very just straight man, like a good man, you know. The role doesn't require anything he isn't able to do. It's actually, I was saying this to Victoria, it's very similar to Ben Affleck's starring role in Argo, where it's like, Ben Affleck is the worst actor ever, but he can be the normal man leading the team to do the mission.
He can be inoffensive.
Sure. Yeah. Unobjectionable. And Orlando Bloom is unobjectionable in this movie. He is playing he's playing a character who doesn't have any like inherently interesting like conflict within. He's just playing like a normal person, but that's fine. But all of the other people around him, Liam Neeson, Jeremy Irons, Edward Norton, I don't know his name, but the guy who plays the antagonist.
Salahadin?
No. The Christian, not Brendan Gleeson, the other guy.
The hospitalier who's like bad.
Yeah.
Is it the French name?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know the actor's name.
Jean Valjean.
And I'm Javert.
But Brendan Gleeson as Renaud de Chatillon.
Yeah, Renaud de Chatillon.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them are just so awesome. And the people who play the Saladin and his like number 2 guy, whoever that guy is, I forget his name. All of the cast is great. And Eva Green, is that her name?
Ava Green, yes.
In the only role I've ever seen her in where I didn't want her to stop talking. She's fine in this.
Yeah. You don't like her in Casino Royale?
Is that her?
She's Vesper.
I haven't seen that in so long. Okay, never mind. The second. Yeah. Those are both from the same year. Those are both 2005. So she figured out how to act that year.
How do you remember all these dates of movies? It's so impressive.
My brain didn't develop the same as the average person. That's the answer. Fetal alcohol syndrome. That's the answer.
One thing that I do like about Balian in this movie is you said he's unobjectionable, which I agree with, but I would go a step further to say that he is a self-insert.
Sure.
Because he is, I wouldn't say a blank slate, but he does just seem like an average Joe, because when you meet him, he's, I think, like working in a forge. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's his job or that's just on his property.
It's his job.
Okay. And
he's a blacksmith.
His wife just committed suicide.
His wife had a miscarriage, and then in her melancholy, as the movie says it, she took her own life.
Yeah, so
he's in a depression.
Yes, he's struggling with depression, a traumatic event. Everybody's had maybe not something like that exactly, but he is just an average Joe who feels the call to go to Jerusalem.
Yes. Well, and Michael Sheen, the only role I've ever seen him in where I didn't want to punch him in the head, because I think he's a terrible actor. Okay. But this is like the kind of character he should be playing. The brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is he a priest?
Yeah, I think he's a man of the cloth of some kind, but he comes up and he's like instantly antagonizing where, what does he say exactly?
When he gets his comeuppance?
Yes.
Spoilers.
Well, okay, for the record, this takes place within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Sure.
So it's not really a spoiler.
At the beginning, the movie starts I love how this movie begins, because it begins with nobody who's the main character. Just this random event. You don't really know what you're even watching. There's a burial for Orlando Bloom's wife, and they're digging the grave, these 2 guys, and Michael Sheen is there, like, observing. And then he says, hey, before you bury her, you got to cut off her head because she was a suicide. And I guess if someone commits suicide in their version of Christianity, that means that they are in hell and you are tainting your own soul or something if you don't remove the head of the unclean body, or I don't know, whatever. So they then cut off her head, cut to like introducing Balian, Orlando Bloom's character. And then he's these like Templars, or no, not Templars. What are they? Just Crusaders.
Sure.
What knights? These knights come through town. Liam Neeson is one of them. He is Balian's illegitimate father. And he says, come with me. We're going to Jerusalem. I want to have you in my life. And Balian is like, no, fuck that. Michael Sheen that night is like antagonizing him. And he's saying, he's like, why didn't you go? Why didn't you go? You could have had riches for us both and everything. And then he just starts antagonizing him about his wife. And he says, you could, if you went to Jerusalem, you could relinquish your wife's position in hell. And Balian looks up like, what? And he's like, I put it delicately. She was a suicide. Like in terms of, I put it delicately before. Mm-hmm. She was a suicide. She is in hell. Although I don't know what she's doing there without a head, implying that, the demons are skull.
Very antagonistic.
Balian then drives a sword through his heart and shoves him into the forge, and he burns turns a lie.
Yeah, most movies would probably have that be like Balion's reason to hate this guy, and then he would get his comeuppance in like third act or at the end of the movie. Instantly, he's just like, "Fuck you, bitch!" Puts him in the fire, and then when I made my brother watch this, he was like, "Yo, Balion fucking rules. He's so cool."
Yeah, he kills the dude, grabs all of his shit, gets on a horse, and starts riding his horse towards in the direction the knights were heading. He catches up with them, and there's an awesome fight scene. Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones,
is
the one chasing them. I didn't recognize him, but Victoria's like, "That's Jaime."
Lots of talent in this movie.
Yes. Many actors who would go on to be something. But he's chasing them down, and he's Liam Neeson's nephew, because they were staying at a castle. That reason they stopped off there in the first place is like that's where Liam Neeson's brother like rules that village or whatever.
Sure.
But they stop for him. There's an awesome fight scene that has one of my favorite moments after the fighting is done. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I can't remember.
There's one dude on the bad of the troop of bad guys. There's one dude left alive. And he's like, "I am the son of some so-and-so. I have the privilege of a ransom." And then Liam Neeson's like, "This is true." And then he just turns around, and the other guy takes that as a cue to take that. What is that thing? That ice pick looking weapon?
Like a spear?
No, it's like a warhammer from Morrowind, but like it has just a really big, like pointy thing at the end. You know what I'm talking about? It's like for piercing shields with and like pulling them away from people.
Oh, like a pike?
Probably.
Yeah.
And he just brains the dude in the back of the head immediately. And you're like, okay, I'm watching Kino.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, this is amazing. I don't know how much we want to talk about Kingdom of Heaven as a whole, because it's 3.5 hour movie. Yes. And I feel like people should experience a lot of the stuff themselves, because there are some fantastic scenes. Only thing I really don't like about Kingdom of Heaven, and this isn't William Monahan's fault, it's more Ridley Scott's or the editors. There are so many moments in there that are marred by some of the worst slow motion I've ever seen in a movie.
Yes.
It is the one thing that I believe is just like, unforgivably annoying. One thing that is a pet peeve for me in movies, and I'll have to explain this a bit, is really choppy, poorly shot slow motion. It's usually a decision where they didn't record at a high enough frame rate, but they slow it down and it looks insanely choppy. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to see to really understand. I think it looks terrible all the time.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite movies, like Hard Boiled, for example, have great slow motion. And you can tell that they planned the scene out and this is what it's supposed to be in slow motion. And you're like, oh, this looks so fucking good. Other times they will like cross a doorway and they just slowed it down because they thought they should, because I guess maybe the timing was wrong in the edit, where they're just like, yeah, we can like slow it down here. It just feels better, but it looks bad. There are an unbelievable amount of moments in Kingdom of Heaven that have this type of bad slow motion, to the point where I was getting like physically angry.
There's at least like, I remember like 7 or 8 specifically. There's the one with the boat in the water.
Yes.
And it's slow motion. It's not shot. We should explain this. When you say choppy, it's not like shot for slow motion. They didn't shoot it at a higher frame rate.
Exactly.
It's 24 frames. When slowed down, it becomes a PowerPoint of the movie.
Yes. And if you shoot at a higher frame rate, it won't look like that.
Yeah.
So that is one thing where I'm like, you didn't plan this out correctly. And some people, like I said, it's a pet peeve, which means it's something that only I or very few people will find annoying.
Yeah.
And I'm being a pedantic bitch about this. But it happens so much in here that it kind of hampers my experience.
You notice it, and you keep you keep remembering it because it keeps happening. Why did they do that?
It does keep happening. And it's frustrating because it happens in moments that don't need slow motion. Like if it was a guy getting hit, like, stabbed or something, a very pivotal moment, I understand why you would do that. It's like Balian just kind of like looking out in the distance, like, ooh, like, gritting his teeth. And it will just like be in that shitty slow motion. It's like, you could have just cut that, actually. The action makes sense. The choreography is pretty good for the most part. And everything flows and you can understand the positioning of people. Yeah. It is just unnecessary.
I agree. And that is the main thing I don't like about it. I like pretty much everything about it. I think that it's not a masterpiece in terms of like it's not objectively perfect, but yeah. For a movie of this scale, about this subject matter, being as adult as it is and everything, it's just a movie that you really, it's one of a kind, pretty much. There's nothing like this from the modern era with that budget that looks this epic.
Yes.
That is that satisfying to watch.
Two things I'll say is, the only other part I don't like about this movie is right after the intermission. That is where it starts to slow down a little bit for me. The pacing is great for a 3.5 hour movie. Right after the intermission for about 15, 20 minutes, I won't get into it too much, but it does definitely slow down for me there. Do you remember that part? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I clocked it when I was watching this. There's a moment, and this is true of all of William Monahan's movies. One of the nice things about him is that he does not write movies with a cliched structure. He writes movies from page 1 to page done. He does not go back and edit. So when he starts, he's writing it. If he feels like he likes what he's doing, he keeps it. If he doesn't like it, he'll just go back to the previous version and just restart. He doesn't type on Final Draft. He like actually writes his scripts like physically on typewriters or handwritten. And what you get as a result of not planning out the structure is you get a kind of free formed, like unique thing every time. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This movie is pretty structurally sound with the exception of once it becomes time for the third act to need to be set up, it's not set up enough. So you have many scenes in a row after the intermission of characters who previously had one dynamic with somebody having a dialogue scene that is kind of just there for them to have a shifting loyalty or make a deal with somebody for things to then all coalesce in the third act. But what you get then is just a lot of scenes that just feel like it's just shoe leather. It's just scenes that only exist to set up information. And it's like, we want to get past this. But it's tolerable.
It is tolerable. It's not
you
awful.
notice it though, because it's just not as good because the writing is so good in this movie until that portion.
To end on a positive note, though, one thing that I deeply respect about this movie, and a lot of people have said this online, and I agree, is this movie came out in 2005, right during the War on Terror, and this movie concerns the Crusades. It's Christian, Muslim. The Muslim characters in this movie are very nuanced, and he does avoid the pitfalls of what a lot of movies do at the time of just having like the evil Muslim who's like, I am going to take over Jerusalem and kill all the Christians because I'm evil and brown.
Yes.
That
is like the thing I wrote down here that I wanted to emphasize. This is the only movie this close, especially this close after 9/11, but this is the only movie from this decade that does, like major movie, that does not portray Muslims as like just low IQ, violent
barbarians.
Like barbarians. Yes.
Yes.
Everyone in this movie, in fact, there's only 2 characters in this movie that are low IQ barbarians, and they're Christians. They're Templars.
Yeah.
Chatillon and Guy something. That's his name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But those 2 guys, they're the only 2 who kind of don't have depth, and they're white Christians.
Yes.
Not that, and it's not even all the way, like this movie is not slanted. It just presents all of these people as realistic, intelligent human beings who all have legitimate reasons for the claims they have to the land and what they see as the future of the Holy Land and who it should belong to and why. And there's no making anyone out to be a cartoon.
Exactly.
And I love that.
You could also, if this movie was written differently, it could be a Muslim Balian going to Jerusalem to take it over.
Yes.
That's how well written it is.
Yes.
This isn't inherently just like we are the good guy Christians. It's like there are some that are good, some that are bad. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, whoever wrote this, before I knew who it was at the time, I'm just like, this is very nuanced. And this is one thing I like about William Monahan. All the movies I've seen, some are better and worse, there are always interesting, nuanced characters whose lives I want to explore more. And that is one thing that I think is his biggest strength. He
generally, because lately it's been he generally doesn't write black and white characters. Yeah. One thing I want to mention about Kingdom of Heaven, the 2 things that I had, you just mentioned one, the Muslim thing. The other thing I want to mention about this, the oath in the movie that the knights have to take, the one that Balian takes when he gets punched in the head, which by the way, a lot of people were like, this isn't how it's done. You're knighted with a sword on your shoulders. William Monahan apparently had like arguments with like studio executives. He's like, actually, that's fucking wrong. The way that this happened back in the day is you said your oath and then you got the shit beat out of you.
Like you got jumped into the crypts?
Yes. Yeah. And that was so you'd remember your oath. Like it was literally like hazing. Like you're getting punched in the face until you can name like 5 brands of vodka or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
Like it's literally that kind of thing. But I love that the oath, if you don't know, the oath was, there's no way to know exactly what oath knights at that time were taking. So William Monahan invented that oath. That is completely that is made whole cloth from his beliefs personally. And what he can gather is the general tenets of like being a good man that existed at that time. This movie is so influential to me with that oath because everything about that, I think that oath is like a perfect guide for how to be a man, which is to tell the truth, even if it leads to your own death, which in modern day, the stakes are much lower, but we live in a time where everyone is a fucking coward hack who refuses to say what they really believe because they don't want to get judged. And everyone thinks that they're like closing opportunities that don't really exist if they actually speak their mind. And I think that telling the truth always, telling what you actually believe, what you actually feel, what you actually saw, even if it means that you're not going to be as popular, is so important. And it's so scarce, especially now. So that really hit me when I saw this, because I sometimes feel like I'm the only one. Not that I'm perfect, but sometimes I just look around and I go like, who are you alien people? Because I just see so much fakeness around me all the time and it makes me like physically ill. But The Oath in general, that scene, if you can just find it on YouTube, just watch it like many times and write it down and then study it and try to actually practice that. You will be a better person.
I do like movies that offer genuinely good advice, or just have like parables that are like, it doesn't have to be like spelled out entirely, but I do like movies that actually have something like that.
Yeah.
They have a point they're trying to get across about someone's character and how you should be. It doesn't have to be shoehorned in, but stuff like that, I guess I'm kind of a sap for.
Yeah.
And, you saying that that's, basically your dogma says a lot about what we're doing with this podcast.
Sure.
Where we're not, not chasing trends, talking about shit we actually want to talk about, being honest.
I gotta say, it's hard, but I'm just trusting the instinct. Well, we are censoring things. We're censoring things we literally have to.
Yeah.
In order to publish this show.
Yes.
But we are, at least I am. I've said things on this mic that a lot of people that I know who are going to listen to it probably don't know about me. Like I am trying to keep the oath with this for sure. Yeah. It's being vulnerable. We're vulnerable kings.
Vulnerable kings,
as they say.
What is this podcast worth?
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That is such a badass moment.
Yes.
I love this movie. Everyone should go out and watch the director's cut. It's an amazing, if you watched Lord of the Rings and you liked it, this is like a mini Lord of the Rings.
Can you
get all the same stuff out of it.
Can you stream the director's cut?
I don't know. I've never seen it streaming. Every time I see it on Netflix or Amazon, it's always the original theatrical version.
Okay. For the record, you can either buy the Blu-ray or 4K right now on Amazon. The 4K might be sold out because it just released. You could maybe find it on archive.org. I'm not sure. But it is worth to watch it. Do not watch the theatrical version. No. If you like, most people I believe will like this movie. Yeah. So historical epic, has great themes, fight scenes. Yeah. It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
If you watch the right version.
Yes.
But you do have to buy a physical version, as far as I know, unless you're willing to pirate.
Yeah, and the digital, I bought it through YouTube. I own it on my Google account, and I think it was $8. It's worth it. I would say if you watch the trailer for the theatrical cut, of course, but if you watch the trailer and it looks like something you might like, then watch the director's cut and you'll like it. It is a truly lost to time hidden gem.
Yes,
movie.
I agree.
After this movie was being made, if you don't know, William Monahan, because a screenwriter, once the movie's in production, for a lot of screenwriters, your job is done. Maybe they call you and they say, hey, we need to rewrite the scene because we lost this location or whatever, but not with Ridley Scott at the height of his powers post-Gladiator. William Monahan became very frustrated with the film industry. He had a lot of original scripts, like every writer. He had a lot of ideas, and nobody wants to make your ideas. They want you to write their ideas. He drove out into the desert, and he drove out with some water and some alcohol. He sat on the hood of his car, and he thought about life. And then he turned on his side and saw a certain particular angle of a mountain in the distance. And he thought, my God, that's a camera position. This is from an interview of him.
Okay.
And he got the idea for Mojave, which he wrote. He's a very quick writer. He's writing scripts all day, every day. He wrote this movie and then it sat in a drawer for 10 years, eventually got made. But in terms of the chronology of what he wrote, it was his second thing, What did you think of Mojave?
So we just watched Mojave less than an hour ago. I don't hate it. I don't think it's very good. There are certain things I like about it, but after it ended, I was like, It kind of didn't leave too big an impression on me.
Uh-huh.
Like I mentioned in Kingdom of Heaven, the best thing in Mojave are the characters.
Sure.
I do think that Oscar Isaac, for whatever he's doing in this, it's so bizarre. I wrote down a True Detective season 1 McConaughey in the beginning. He even has the same cadence. I don't know if you noticed this. He has the same kind of whistly, McConaughey sometimes hits a whistle when he's talking. He does hit that too. He's dressed like fucking John Marston from Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
For no reason.
Yes. I wrote down, he looks like a character from Red Dead mixed with, do you know that alien from Star Wars in the expanded universe?
The bounty hunter?
Yes.
Oh, Cad Bane.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That dude's fucking cool as shit, by the way.
I'm so happy that you know that. Yeah. I wrote down, he looks like Cad Bane.
Yeah, he is. The characters in this movie are waxing poetic the entire time.
Yeah.
And I will say this movie is the closest to his book Lighthouse in terms of dialogue. Dialogue has a lot of very dense, flowery language, like I said. Mojave has people talking about philosophy, writers, Shakespeare,
Jesus. All of his movies are the same.
Yes, God and the devil.
He knows. Yep.
Yeah, and those are sprinkled throughout all his other movies, of course. But this is where it's like, oh, I see. And I didn't know that he wrote this after Kingdom Heaven. I guess it makes sense that this is, closer to his writing of the book because it seems very similar.
This was his fuck you Hollywood script.
I see.
And when you watch it, oh my God, is it so obvious?
It's very unorthodox, which I mean is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think all of it lands for me.
No.
It is unique though.
I will say this, William Monahan is a bad director. He's directed 2 movies, this and one he directed before this. Because this movie was made 10 years after it was written. He directed London Boulevard starring Colin Farrell and this. And both of those are decent scripts with terrible direction. I think that he doesn't know where to put the camera. I think that, they're just like kind of bland. I mean, it's not like you don't watch it and go, oh my God, who could have, but it's just director for hire. Like
it's uninspired.
He's only directing this because it's just like he doesn't want it to be changed.
Probably. If you said this is his fuck you script, he probably is like, fuck you, I'm the director. And they're like, well, if you get the money, I guess.
Yeah. And I think Garrett Hedlund is miscast in this lead role. I mean, this character is very thin as it is, so it's not necessarily like his fault that the character is so kind of just one note and boring.
Yeah.
But he's just a stoic man. And he is an insert for William Monahan back in 2005.
Yes. The thing I had a problem with is this guy who is supposed to be this, I don't know, like, I mean, he's definitely meant to be a tough dude, but he looks like an H&M model. This guy is attractive, but that was one thing where I'm just like, I'm watching a model like go through something that like you would see in an S. Craig Zoller movie.
Yes. Oh, that's a very good comparison. Yeah. Actor face, as you say.
Actor face.
This has actor face to the nth degree.
Yeah. I'd say Oscar Isaac is okay for the most part. Oh my God. The fucking Oscar Isaac says brother like 1,000 times. Actually, probably like 200, really. But
it's so much.
Oh my, it is so fucking annoying. Every single sentence is just like, well, brother, let me tell you about this thing, brother. Brother, I gotta let you know, brother. I'm like, okay, dude. Like, is there a reason why he talks like that?
I have no idea. I think it was just an instinct that Monahan, I think he just wrote that and he's like, that's one of his traits. And he just went with it. I don't know.
Because Mojave is about a dude who is he a writer or producer in Mojave?
He's a director.
Okay, yes. He is a director and he goes into the desert just like William Monahan. Crashes his car somehow. I kind of blinked and I missed it.
No, you didn't actually. It's just he's driving and he's like swerving ridiculously for no reason, just so that it's believable that he's about to crash. And then it just cuts to it. There's like dust flying in the camera. The camera's like mounted to the car. There's dust flying in it, and then you hear a crash sound effect, and it cuts to, and now the car is just sideways.
Yes, so I saw that, and I saw the car moving, and I kind of looked away to like look at my notepad to take notes and stuff, and I looked back up, and the car is on its side. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Did I fucking just like miss something?
It's very poorly shot.
That was like, okay, yeah, and that's, I guess, yeah, why you're saying he's a bad director, because anybody else probably would have had like more coverage, and they're just like, well, he's swerving more, and then maybe the car, I mean, they probably didn't want to actually crash the car.
Sure.
Didn't have the budget for that.
That's expensive.
Going back to the characters real quick, both of them are very intelligent people. And I think that is the strength of this movie, is it's two people who are very equally matched in terms of wits. But it doesn't really go like in a direction that is very interesting. They're both smart people, which I always like. You want a smart villain and you want a smart hero, but nothing really connects.
Yeah, it suffers from the fact that Monahan. So one thing that he just is wrong about. One thing that's maddening about William Monahan is he has this philosophy that stories cannot just be, as he puts it, a fucking kitchen sink drama. He has the opinion that if you can put a gun in a story, it's going to be better. Like that's like literally a quote of his. And this movie suffers from the fact that he is leaning into his beliefs that a movie, it's not enough for a movie. You can't just make a cerebral movie about someone who's kind of stalking somebody and they have intellectual dialogue with each other. There has to be the threat of violence and that he's a killer and, all this other stuff. But that stuff is just, it doesn't hook. It's not scary. It's like kind of laughable when Oscar Isaac appears in the apartment or in the penthouse, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like silly. It's just, it's hampered by the fact that it's trying to be a genre movie, but it's an A24 movie with a budget of like $5. So it's not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of moments in this that they're just like in their house. Yeah. And I will say there was a scene that I thought was very funny where, what's his name? Garrett Hedlund?
Yeah.
Yeah. Main actor. He's sitting in his house and he's somebody comes over and he's just like, oh, yeah, I haven't really moved in yet, which is like, so that means there's no like set decoration. They're just sitting at a kitchen table and all the walls are right, which is like we couldn't afford to like dress this set.
It could be they're backing into it like that. I think that is intentional because Monahan, there is an interview. It's hard for me to parse this stuff out, but I've read all of his interviews so many times. It's like baked in. There is an interview about this movie where he talks about the fact that he was disgusted with LA. He lived in LA for like 10 years. He moved to LA when he first entered the film industry and he lived there for a while. And then eventually he quote unquote had to get out. He's from Boston, by the way.
Okay.
Which is why The Departed is set in Boston. If we'll get to The Departed though, but he was there and he was disgusted by the fact that in his observation, nobody lives there. Everybody's houses are not furnished. Nobody's permanent. Nobody's from there. There's dialogue about that in this movie, you know,
yeah.
Like, why is everybody in LA a foreigner? And
yes.
It's like money, you know, and he just felt like everyone there was just a whore and he felt like he was just becoming a prostitute.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And this movie, I mean, the studio, not executive, but like the producer character, the man who's encapsulating Hollywood is a wonderful cameo performance by Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that was one of the most bizarre things. Caleb can attest. I audibly went, what? when I saw that.
Yeah, because I told Nick beforehand, I was like, there's some cameos in this movie. He's in like 4 or 5 scenes in like just his scenes are straight out of Entourage, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, get the Chinese food. And then I need these prostitutes to suck my cock. And hey, make sure you get in those notes to the studio about the script edits. And it's the most ungenerous portrayal of what a movie producer is, which is like obviously William Monahan being like, this is what these people are. Yeah. So he's working in his criticism of them. He's working in his criticism of the vapidness of Hollywood. This movie, have you ever been to LA?
Yes.
In what capacity and for how long and where were you?
Just on vacation for like a week, maybe like twice.
What were you doing?
Just like seeing the sights, stuff. Like going all around, like, you know, like Santa Monica and all that things. I think back in the day we went to like, you know, Disneyland or like Legoland or something. Okay. But I forget what I have been to LA like at least 2 times. Okay. But when I was young.
I've been to LA a few times and this movie is very accurate in capturing how everything is just, there's like that fluorescent, icky, like in the sunlight, everything just looks, it's like Vegas during the day. Everything just looks like gross and stale and just like hangover feel to it. Yeah. And at night, everything is fluorescent and buzzing and gross. Everything is just gross.
Yes. For the record, I fucking despise California as a state. I hate Los Angeles. I have ruined multiple friendships by saying how much I hate California to Californians.
California or SoCal?
All of California. Well, I mean, some parts aren't as bad, you know, like, you know, north, like Redding. And I've been to the Redwoods and that was nice. But I mean, like, if you've ever been to like the red part of California, like the fucking like desert, I mean, that shit sucks too.
I haven't. The only places in California I've been are San Diego and LA.
I've been to San Francisco as well.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, and San Francisco.
Fucking hate California.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being a bitch right now about this, but
LA sucks. LA sucks dick.
Yes,
it's the worst city ever.
I like the West Coast in general, but California is a blemish that I hope. Please, I will join the People's Liberation Army to drop the nuke.
They would never nuke it because they own too much of it.
Whoa. That's deep. That's deep.
What was I saying that led to that?
You're doing your Chinese accent.
No. Depiction of LA.
Yeah.
The movie producer and the movie industry dialogue, there's a decent amount of stuff. This movie, I guess we should say, generally what you're getting when you watch this movie is Garrett Hedlund plays this young studio I guess maybe studio darling, like director or something. He's probably supposed to be in his late 20s, early 30s. He's been a celebrity in quote unquote one way or another since I'm 19.
Yeah.
William Monahan, if you don't know, was a like wonderkind literary star. He actually was part of solving the Unabomber thing. Yeah. He discussed the Unabomber had some kind of, his victims were targeted through a lexically based system. I don't know what it was, but William Monahan is so well read that he like noticed. He noticed the pattern and he like called the FBI and he's like, I know how the Unabomber is picking his victims and I know how you can save the next one.
What the fuck?
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes.
This should be the first thing on his Wikipedia page.
It is. I think it is on his big. That's probably where I learned.
It probably is in there, but there should be like help catch the Unabomber.
Yeah. He's a small part of it. I mean, I think the Unabomber was caught because his brother recognized his handwriting.
His brother recognized that he was being pedantic about some phrase where it's like everybody says you can't have your cake and eat it too, but what the original thing was you can't eat your cake and have it too, which is what Ted Kaczynski was like constantly correcting people on. And then his brother was just like, well, this is Ted because he's being a huge bitch about this.
Okay. Yeah. So Monahan, he's not like the guy who solved it. He noticed the pattern of how the victims were chosen, which is an interesting thing about him. But he was this wonderkind guy, and he was he was not a household name or anything, but he was just recognized by the literary world in the East Coast, in Boston, New York, whatever, as a guy who was going to be a big thing one day and had the stuff. And so this character is very much him, He has some dialogue with Oscar Isaac. He's in the desert and he meets Oscar Isaac, this guy who looks like Cad Bane, who walks into his little camp, and they kind of just have a kinship right away. They have a connection. They have common reference points. They know exactly what the other one is talking about. They talk about writing, writers' conferences, about character motivations. Mm-hmm. He says, I would believe Ahab if he had 2 legs and he was chasing the whale for some reason he couldn't explain. In William Monahan's interviews, there's one where he gave where like a studio executive was once like, well, there's this scene where this character like overpowers someone in a bar, and I would believe that he could do that if he was like an army commando. And Monahan was just sitting there like rubbing his head,
Fucking hack.
So he's like, because he should be a novelist. Monahan, there's no reason he should have become a screenwriter, because like he was lucky enough to have 2 really good movies out of the gate, but like you're not going to be able to soar the way that you like. He is capable of. He could have been the next like Jonathan Franzen. But he's never going to be, because he's just committed to writing movies, and he still is. And they're just shit.
It's probably more consistent money is the reasoning.
Well, sure. And he's probably afraid to admit that. So he makes it this thing about like, well, film means more to me. And it's like, dude, you've read like every book that exists. Obviously one of them means more, but you know that one of them is a dying industry. But this movie is interesting because it is a glimpse directly into his psyche. I mean, literally, if you've read his because watching this just now, this is the second time I've seen it. And the first time I saw it was when I was still a new fan of his. I was just watching everything of his. Having read multiple times every interview of his and thinking about him a lot, rewatching this movie, there is so much shit he has talked about of his opinions and things that are just in this movie. This movie is just kind of his like rant.
So this is for the real Monahan heads.
If you're a Monahan head and you watch this movie, it is like
you're going to be, pointing at the screen.
Yes, this is the Force Awakens for Monahan heads, or
Force Awakens.
Avengers Endgame. I don't even know. This is just where you're just constantly elbowing your wife. Like, and the thing with the candle at the end, that is in Lighthouse. That is taken from Lighthouse. And there's an interview he gave where he talked about that. He's like, when I was a kid, I thought the perfect way to burn down a house is you take a Dixie cup, you put a candle in it, you put gasoline around. When it burns down and starts the fire, that will have burned down. You don't know how the fire started. Like, and that is this isn't a spoiler. That is in Lighthouse in a scene. He reuses stuff. He has the stuff that means something to him. He talked about Shakespeare. This movie, Oscar Isaac's character for no reason is like, I'm a Shakespeare guy. William Monahan has talked about how the thing that got him into like that Jacobean drama was he read Romeo and Juliet, and he said, and I understood the music of it the way that none of my classmates did. And, he just has the stuff that worked for him, and he just never stops talking about it. Every fucking movie he's written has the word Hamlet in it, except Kingdom of Heaven. He loves Hamlet.
Because it hadn't been written yet.
He's a huge... Yeah. Honestly, that's probably the only reason why.
If Balian was just like, this reminds me of a book someone will write in 400 years. Yeah. That would actually be a really good in joke of, Yeah. Man, Mojave, overall was just kind of an thing for me. There are things I do like about this movie, but a lot of the time I thought there were some very bizarre choices that seemed sophomoric for somebody of his talent, which it makes sense now that you say this was like the next script he wrote and was more personal to him. The best scene in this movie by far is a confrontation at the bar. It has the most smartly written dialogue where it's 2 very smart people who think they are the smartest person in the room, one-upping each other constantly.
Yeah, they have 3 dialogue scenes in this movie. The one in the camp, the one in the bar, and the one at the end when they're at Oscar Isaac's weird bungalow.
Yeah, his weird fucking like Fallout New Vegas camper.
Yes. And those are by far the top 3 scenes. And what order you place them in is up to taste. But those are undeniably the 3 scenes where you're staring at the screen, you're engaged.
Yes.
And the rest of it is like people walking around and like the threat of murder.
Yes. One thing that I really despise in other things, I'm going to use, did you ever watch the Benedict Cumberbatch like Sherlock stuff? I find that shit very grating.
Really?
I find, especially his version of being the smartest person in the room, to be so annoying. And he is the smartest person in that scene, but it's just something that just rubs me the wrong way. Like, it's written by somebody who... I don't think I came up with this. I probably read it online somewhere. It's written by a dumb person that thinks this is what smart people write like or act like. The people in Mojave in that scene, William Monahan is an intelligent person. So he's writing to other intelligent people, and I'm eating that shit up.
And there's dialogue about the duality of man. These characters are kind of just two halves of him.
Yes. I mean, now that you say that this was like a more personal thing, I can see more of him in Oscar Isaac's character than the other guy.
I will praise Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is a brilliant actor, or was. And his performance, I think so. In his roles in like 3 or 4 years worth of movies that this movie takes place in, like from like 2013 to like 2016, like he was just on the ball. Especially in Inside Llewyn Davis and Ex Machina. But I think this movie is not very good. And if he was not playing this character, this movie would be unwatchable, probably.
This would be, as we call it, a disease movie.
This would be a disease movie. He creates a really weird, watchable, fucked up, funny, just fucking weird ass guy. And he is acting his heart out, especially in his last scene. Yeah. You know, like just the weird, like the way he's just like straining himself to speak. Like without Oscar Isaac being as good as he is, this movie would be whatever. I think Garrett Hedlund is just super bland. You know, he's delivering his lines fine, but he's just, the times where he's talking, he's like, and you don't know what that'll do. His eyes just get really big. That's like his way of conveying emotion is like, I'm going to bug out my eyes while I'm talking to you.
He reminded me, did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
I watched one episode and said, nope.
That's fair because I watched everything except the last season. I said, this got stupid. And I stopped watching it. But he reminds me of Charlie Hunnam, I believe.
They look identical.
Who plays Jax Teller, the main guy in Sons of Anarchy. That was the first thing I saw. I'm just like, oh, it's him.
Yeah. I just realized they're in multiple movies together because Garrett Hedlund is in Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh, really?
He's John Goodman's driver. Have you seen that movie?
No. I haven't. I'm thinking of something else.
There's a portion of the movie where Llewyn Davis, I was going to say we're inside Llewyn Davis, where Llewyn Davis, Oscar Isaac's character, is like driving. He needs to get somewhere. He's riding along with John Goodman as this obnoxious guy. And their driver is this silent, like Coen Brothers type character where he just looks pissed and doesn't say a word. And it's Garrett Hedlund. I wonder if they must be like friends outside of, or maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but they've acted multiple things together. I think Garrett Hedlund he's fine, but he's forgettable. But Oscar Isaac he makes this movie watchable. I would say at the very least, just go on YouTube and search Mojave Oscar Isaac and just watch his scenes. The bar scene, especially, his acting is really good and he's delivering pretty well written dialogue. That's just in a ultimately bland and forgettable movie that doesn't really coalesce. This movie doesn't really have it's just like a bunch of disparate things that he was feeling at the time. This was like probably an exorcism for his soul, but it doesn't really work as a movie.
He had to get the poison out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the ending though, where he opens up the cupboard, you see the mother's skull, and then he has like Charlie Manson music, like he's making music, you know, and you can tell he recorded it recently because he's mentioning things that happened.
Stuff that just happened, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting ending, but then it just cuts away super quick to him picking up his little British daughter. What's that about?
Yeah, the thing with his British family is just like never really dealt with, and then he has his French girlfriend. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to bring up that was really funny.
Yes.
So the entire time I was watching this, he has a French girlfriend who's very beautiful, who is a stage actress, and I also believe probably a film actress.
Film actress who's doing a play of The Tempest. Because Shakespeare.
Yes. The entire time I'm just like, she's so beautiful. And in the first scene, you see one of her tits because of how the camera's positioned and how she is. I was looking at this and I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this chick somewhere before.
I know that nipple from somewhere.
And I was just like, I know a decent amount of French actresses because I've seen a ton of French movies. And I'm like, what is she from? We looked up the IMDb and she's from this kids movie called The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec, which we mentioned in another episode where you see both of her tits.
Yeah.
And we were laughing because it's like, how do you see more tits in one of her kids' movies than you do in this?
Yeah. Directed by international sex criminal Luc Besson.
Luc Besson. Yeah. So this movie has half the tits of a French kids' movie. And honestly, that movie, Adele Blanc-Sec, is better than this overall.
I would bet. This is not a good movie, but if you ever, it's funny. There might be, if we became the most successful podcast on earth, there would likely be maybe 5 people who are going to do the work to understand and appreciate this movie the way that I just uniquely do. Not that I'm so smart for it. Like I'm an average person of average intelligence, but if you consume literally everything William Monahan's ever said or written, and then you watch Mojave, you will like it. Because you will feel like you're just listening to your friend talk about what's going through his head.
I see.
Whereas if you don't have that experience, you watch it and you say, this is a fucking stupid, like Hitchcock ripoff. Anyway, 2006, William Monahan's next and last good movie, The Departed. Now, this is probably the one and only time in William Monahan's filmography that we diverge. From what I remember, you do not like this film.
Yeah, I'm not super big on The Departed. I don't hate it, but I don't really know how to describe it. For the record, this is a remake of Infernal Affairs, which is a Hong Kong movie with Tony Leung.
A worse movie.
I disagree. I like Infernal Affairs. I don't think either of them are insane masterpieces, but I like Infernal Affairs more. I feel like the dichotomy of a criminal going undercover in the police and a police officer going undercover as a criminal is more well done in Infernal Affairs.
You are gay and stupid.
No, you're Chinese.
Infernal Affairs is so bad.
No, it's not.
Dude, the way it starts with the Frank Costello equivalent, the mastermind criminal talking to his like group of thieves, and he goes, or group of criminals, he goes, "You all have joined my organization of criminals, and we are going to do crime because that's what we do." Go fuck yourself. Infernal Affairs is fucking stupid and bad.
Okay, that's just a cultural difference because they're Asian people and they're
I was going to say where you're going with that.
They're like worker ants. They're like, all right, we need to do crime now. Chop, chop.
It's terrible. Infernal Affairs sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
The sequels do suck.
What?
I know it's hard to believe.
There's sequels?
You didn't know this?
No.
Caleb, Infernal Affairs is a trilogy.
Oh my god. That's crazy. Does Infernal Affairs end at the same point in the story that The Departed ends, with the certain characters who've died dying? Or is it stretched out over multiple movies?
It ends in this. I'd say like 95% of it ends in the same way. It's kind of hard to say without going to spoilers, but a famous scene in a building with an elevator does happen around the same time.
Okay.
That all happens, but there are certain big characters where in one movie they live, in the other one they die.
Really?
Yes.
Can we do a like 60-second spoiler and you tell me who?
Yeah. 60 seconds or whatever. We'll talk about this.
Skip starting now.
So the person who is supposed to be the criminal undercover as a cop, so Matt Damon's character, Matt Damon in The Departed gets headshotted by Marky Mark. And my goodness, in Infernal Affairs, that guy is alive at the end, but everybody who's like a part of his, like, that he liked in the triad or whatever is dead. So he's stuck as a cop and he can't really leave because they'll be like, oh, well, you were involved with it. They're waiting for like, someone to run out of the barn or something. And then like Infernal Affairs 2 is a prequel that shows you how the boss who gets killed in who is it? Who would it be?
Frank Costello.
Frank Costello. It's basically a prequel with Chinese Frank Costello and how he became who it is. It's fine. And then 3 is a sequel where you see what happens to who would be Matt Damon's character. And he does end up, I think, getting exposed and I think dying, or if not, he's injured and put in prison. He's basically suffering from being undercover where he's like, it's like, out damn spot type thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It still sucks. Infernal Affairs is stupid and bad and poorly acted, poorly written, poorly shot. And it's stupid.
Oh, no way. It looks way better than The Departed.
You are fucking...
No,
The Departed is a masterpiece. It is. The Departed is like literally every shot in The Departed is perfect. What are you talking about? Here's one thing. The Departed, whether it works for you or doesn't, The Departed objectively has unusual editing. And part of that is the script. Part of that is the fact that the screenplay, if you read the screenplay of The Departed, which is, I I think it's like 118 pages or something, which in the like stupid Hollywood producers idea of how screenplays work means one page is a minute of film.
Yeah.
That's not how it works at all, actually. That's not even in fact, most finished films are not even close to the number of minutes as there are pages in the screenplay. It's a stupid thing that only idiots believe. And if you believe it, you're an idiot and fuck you. The screenplay for The Departed, a lot of the stuff in the middle of the movie is in a different order. The movie they moved a lot of scenes around to create kind of like movements and arcs and acts that weren't really there in the original thing. You have a lot of flashbacks within flashbacks in The Departed. There's a lot of scenes that people don't even remember are in the movie because they're just like really quick glimpses of things in the middle of stuff. Like, do you remember the scene where Leonardo DiCaprio's father is dying in the hospital and he's talking to his father's new wife and telling her off?
I don't remember that at all.
Exactly, because it's a flashback within a flashback within a flashback that happens like early on. And there's a lot of those. There's a lot of scenes in The Departed that people don't even remember because they just go by so fast because it was restructured. So it doesn't follow like A to B to C, the kind of thing. And also within the movie itself, there's just some like strange editing. Scorsese specifically, his partnership with Thelma Schoonmaker is a really great one. And Scorsese's movies have a lot of really sharp, amazing editing in them.
They do.
And The Departed, I think, is an example of how editing can really make a movie, because the finished film before they did everything they did was apparently like kind of sluggish, and people didn't it didn't have any like juice. And the movie as it is, with all that restructuring, is like, it just constantly pulls you through, and it has this like breakneck pace that just feels inevitable. Not just how the edits are made within scenes, but also just the general structure of like how scenes are arranged and how they're kind of fragmented at times for the delivery of information. That's its own conversation. Maybe that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. The Departed has some like very awkward edits in it. Like, I don't know if you know about the one where Matt Damon's saying like, I cannot allow you to jeopardize my mission. Do you know about that one?
I remember him saying that.
Yes. And that is a famous, it's just a horrifically edited shot, because I think Scorsese only filmed one angle of it. But outside of that and a couple other moments, The Departed has so many creative like directorial choices. It is literally chocked full of just like perfect directorial choices, in my opinion.
Okay, let me clarify. I don't think Departed is a bad movie. I don't even think it's mediocre. It is a good movie. I just like Infernal Affairs more. And it's for reasons because of my personal taste. I was telling you, okay. Let me put it to you this way. You said in another episode we recorded that you haven't seen a lot of Hong Kong cinema.
Yes.
So this is one of how many movies from Hong Kong do you think you've seen?
Infernal Affairs?
Yeah. I guess how many movies from China have you seen?
Honestly, it might be the only Hong Kong film I've seen.
Interesting. I have seen over a dozen. I love Hong Kong cinema, especially, thrillers, crime. I really like that area of filmmaking and what the directors from there do. This definitely worked for me more because I have a love for that type of filmmaking. And I can definitely see that if you haven't seen a lot of directors from there or their work, then it wouldn't hit for you as hard as it did for me, which is probably why I like it more. And I wouldn't say it's marginal. I do like it just a tad more. It's not like neck and neck. But let's say it's like, I don't know, let's say Departed is like 80%. I would put Infernal Affairs at like, 87. Just to put it in perspective of what it's like.
I don't understand how, though. Like, I know what you're saying about the style of Hong Kong films and, whatever, like the way that the way that story is delivered working better, but I don't understand why. I mean, The Departed is full of hilarious dialogue, amazing, like top-notch performances from probably the best cast that's ever been assembled in American cinema.
They have good performances. I don't disagree. There are tons of moments that I think are funny, or chilling that I do like, but there are also, especially, can we both agree that like Mark Wahlberg is like fucking in this?
No.
Okay.
What are you on? This is Mark Wahlberg's finest hour. Has he been better in anything than he is in this?
Dude, it's like letting a paraplegic like bat in a baseball game.
What are you talking about?
And he hits a single somehow. It's like, I guess that's cool for Mark Wahlberg.
What are you talking about?
Dude, he's a fucking like Bostonian.
He's playing a man from Boston. What does that have to do with him being bad in the movie? He's a bad actor in the weakest link. How?
He can't fucking act. I don't know how to like make this any clearer. all his lines are just like, yeah, say that again, you fucking.
He doesn't say anything that base. Everything he says is like perfectly amazing. What are you talking about? God damn it. So, Nick, Mark Wahlberg's performance in this, number one, he's never been better in anything. Number two, he is killing it in every scene. How can you watch Blue Velvet and understand why Dennis Hopper is doing a good performance in that, but not think Mark Wahlberg is doing that in this movie? He is doing the exact same turn that Dennis Hopper is doing in Blue Velvet. He's playing a ridiculous type of person in real life. If you met him, he's playing him completely believably and perfectly. The scene when he's like, when Alec Baldwin is mad and he's like, you know, who fucked this up? I'm the guy that does his job. You must be the other guy. This movie is full of Mark Wahlberg delivering perfect dialogue perfectly.
It is not the turn like Dennis Hopper. That's not the problem I have with anything like that. Or that he's playing a crazy character.
Has he played any character like this before? Ever?
I don't know his entire filmography.
So then what are you basing this off of him being bad? What's
because
he doing
his
wrong?
performance is bad. I don't believe his character is just like so cartoonish and stupid. I don't believe him as the character he is.
What?
As this fucking wigger, as a Bostonian cop. What are you talking about?
He's not a wigger. He's just a tough guy.
In real life, he's a wigger pretending to be an actual cop.
He is a literal Southie actual. He's playing what he was raised to be. He's using his actual original Boston accent, playing a really angry, annoyed person who's intelligent and sees through people and is constantly using his chaotic tactics of cutting people down and insulting them to see what they're really made of. What is wrong with that?
Because Mark Wahlberg isn't like that in real life, and it's not believable that he's playing a character that
he's an actor. They're all.
It's not believable. That's the problem.
What? Why? Why is it not believable? What do you not believe?
What do you mean? I want to believe that this is a real character that somebody is portraying. Somebody where I'm just like, yeah, okay, Mark Wahlberg is playing a cop that does this and that. I think he is horribly miscast in this role.
What the fuck are you talking about? How is he miscast? Who would you cast as Sergeant Dignam? Who could play this character better than Mark Wahlberg did in this movie?
Okay, that's a crazy question to ask because you're just like, who would be better in this role out of anybody in the world? You're
horrifically miscast. We talked about how Liam Neeson is obviously miscast in Naked Gun. You're like, I don't think he is because you're stupid. He's obviously miscast.
No.
Who could have played Mark? If you're saying he's horrifically miscast, you should be able to name at least one person.
You want me to give an actual actor who would be better than Sergeant?
Or at least tell me, okay, you're directing this movie. You see a take of Mark Wahlberg. Name any scene Mark Wahlberg's in. What's a scene you remember that he's in?
I guess. Well, I'd want one with dialogue because the first thing I think of is the end scene where you.
Sure.
Yeah.
The scene where they're interviewing DiCaprio at the beginning. And he's like sitting next to Martin Sheen.
I don't remember the dialogue from that scene.
Well, but you remember what that scene is, right? And how he's acting in it. Or is there any?
I really don't remember that one specifically. I'm trying to think of one where I'm just like, like I said, you've probably seen this closer to the recording than I have.
Let me well, no, I haven't watched it in a while. Let me modify.
I haven't seen it in ages.
I'll modify my question. If you were directing this movie and you just witnessed him do a take of the scenes you see in this movie, if he just did a take of the scene, he performed it that way of any of his scenes, what would you say he should be doing differently? What would you say? Hey, can you do it this way this time? Well,
he just has like a very childish persona, I find.
That's what the character is as written.
No.
He's a smart man who uses like foul language and being an asshole bully to throw people off all the time. What's he doing wrong as an actor? How is he miscast?
Because I said he just seems too childish for that role. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, yes, he's supposed to be childish, but Marky Mark, this fucking rapper. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't know how I can convince you. It's just something where I'm just like, oh, it might be actor face. It probably isn't, but he is. Yeah. Okay. I don't see how you can think that Mark Wahlberg is insanely good in this movie. No way. Dude, he beat up a Vietnamese guy.
There is a scene, one of his first scenes in this movie when they're talking to DiCaprio. Martin Sheen and Wahlberg are like interviewing him, and he's like, "Why do you want to be a cop? Some people want to be a cop to be a hero. Some want to beat a head in."
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If Sergeant, what's his name? Sergeant Dicksuck?
Dignam.
If Sergeant Dig in Your Butt was, I don't know, beating up like people in a pho restaurant, I'd be like, Marky Mark was perfect for this role. But to me, in my head, I just do not like him in this role. Everybody else is fine in this. Marky Mark is the weakest link. Who is the weakest link then?
I don't know. I mean, of the main cast, of all of the cast members who are actors you recognize, I think all of them are at the very least doing a good job, if not a great job. I think this is the best Leonardo DiCaprio has been doing a character who isn't just sort of someone like him. Like, this is the furthest he's gone from a person like his own persona where it's the most believable, I'd say, outside of like, I mean, Gilbert Grape is like, obviously he's playing like a disabled person pretty damn well.
But like adult performance.
Yeah. In terms of playing a character, in terms of playing like an average person, but it's not him, I think he's doing great. I think Matt Damon's good. I think Martin Sheen's good. Alec Baldwin's good. Nicholson is Nicholson in this, you know, he's doing whatever. I think all of the actors are good. And I don't really question it with other people too, except kind of Jack Nicholson as Frank Costello, because Nicholson famously is a complete asshole and demands on like rewriting his character and rewriting the script during production on all of his movies. Yeah. As he did on this one.
He did improv a lot on this.
Yes.
There's
you can tell.
There's that famous hack thing where I think, was it on like Joe Rogan where Matt Damon was talking about the scene where he shoots that chick?
It was the Conan O'Brien podcast.
That was it. Yeah. Where Matt Damon's like, yeah, Jack Nicholson's like, I'm going to do this. Yeah. And if you let me go further.
The script was written that he shoots a man in the surf. And then he rewrote it and he's like, but if you leave the camera rolling, what you're going to see is I'm going to say this line of dialogue. I'm going to do this, you know, I'm going to shoot him. He fell funny. Ha ha ha. And then I have but my friend has a buzzsaw. And so now, you know, we're about to do something bad. And Nicholson, I mean, that does make the movie better. There is a lot of Nicholson improv that is confirmed improv that is pretty good. I mean, the fact that he's holding the severed hand in the plastic bag, that was his idea. There's a lot of stuff he added to the movie that is good. There's also some stuff he added to the movie that is fucking stupid and insane.
So, okay, I don't know all the improv. What did he add to the movie that sucked?
The scene with the prostitutes where he's throwing coke in the girl's crotch and then he's like, go get it. That was his idea. And he wanted to be holding two dildos like they're swords and be like attacking them with it.
So you don't like that? That would have been so cool though.
Scorsese apparently was like, yeah, we ran out of time today. Like they still filmed the scene to like placate him, but he wanted that scene to go further. And he improv'd a lot of lines like when Wahlberg says, I'd like to wipe that smirk off your face, and Nicholson says, would you like to wipe my ass for me? Things like that. Like there was no response in the script because it's just cross-cutting between like three scenes, which happens all the time in this movie. And he added a lot of things like that. Or when he's on the phone at the end and they're following him in the script, it's just him being like, you got to lose the tail. Then he hangs up. He's like nervous. But Nicholson's idea was like, what if the music cuts out and I go, lose the fucking tail? And that's a great moment. And it like really throws you off guard. And then you don't even notice that the music stopped. And then it's just like, whoa, the fun is over. So he added a lot of things like that are good. But he also ruined the movie a little bit. He made it hell for all the people working on it. Scorsese and Thelma Schoonmaker. There's a great story told by the guy who plays Delahunt, the cop who got shot and noticed that DiCaprio went to the wrong address.
He sent him the wrong address and
That actor told a great story of like, he was working on the movie. He was like sitting in a trailer with like Thelma Schoonmaker and she's like, I fucking hate Jack Nicholson. He's like, why? And she's like, he is rewriting the screenplay every day and he will not like come out of his trailer unless we shoot his fucking stupid scenes. So like literally like a third of the production time on this movie was spent filming stuff that they knew was never going to be in the movie just to placate Nicholson.
That does sound annoying.
By the way, that was going to be played by De Niro.
Really?
Scorsese wanted De Niro to play Frank Costello. He wanted Brad Pitt to play the Matt Damon character. And he wanted Matt Damon to play the DiCaprio character. That is a much worse movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm not too sure about... Well, this was like... What Departed was 06?
Yep.
Yeah, this is 06 De Niro. So yeah, that would have been shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, playing it. The other thing, people criticize De Niro... Or they criticize Nicholson's performance, especially his accent. Like, his accent is inconsistent. All of their accents are inconsistent.
First of all, it's like everybody says that your accent is inconsistent. A lot of people's accents are very unique. Like if have you ever taken that test where you say like how words are pronounced and it tells you where your accent is from?
No, I haven't even heard of this.
So people in our life, you know, that you would say that people in our close friend group all have the same accent.
Yeah.
I have taken the test and it says that my accent is like from Nebraska. And then other people, like people we know, have taken it and it's like Seattle. And I'm like, what am I saying different? Besides maybe like a certain thing? Yeah. Like the thing in Seattle that you can tell apart is when you get something from a grocery store and they like, you know, paper plastic, we say bag with an E instead of like, you know, a bag.
I say bag.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We're doing it consciously now. Maybe subconsciously when you don't know, you say like, oh, paper bag. Like something like that. That is what the what do you call it? The stereotype is supposed to be. That Seattleites or Washingtonians say that differently. But everybody's accent is a little bit different than what is supposed to be standard. So that's when everybody's like, the accent coach said this was bad. It's like, yeah, you do have some like really bad ones sometimes. Like, who was it? Was it Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins?
Oh, yes. The worst British accent of all time.
Yes.
Yeah. Nicholson's Boston accent, it does come and go. There are lines of dialogue where he's just speaking as himself, but I don't really care personally. I mean, he's playing a cartoon villain in this like action thriller, you know?
Sure.
People often lament that this is Scorsese's only Oscar win. He won Best Director for this movie. This movie won 4 Oscars: Best Picture, Director, Editing, and Adapted Screenplay for William Monahan. I don't think this is a bad Oscar win for him. I think there's other movies he's made that are better, and Scorsese could easily have 4 Oscars on his mantle for directing, and this being the 4th least deserving of the 4 if he had won 4. I mean, he could easily have taken home Best Director for Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and Goodfellas. And maybe even The Aviator too. But anyway, getting back to The Departed and Monahan, I think that the script, Monahan used a lot of, I think he used up like everything he had in his head of things that Bostonites would say. This movie is full of like just great insults, comebacks, etc. It's very well written movie from a dialogue perspective. I would say it's a pretty well written movie from a character perspective. I would say it's a pretty flawless movie from a plot perspective. I think that this movie takes things that in Infernal Affairs are there, and this movie makes them cooler. I
agree in theory that it does do things different, and there are some things they do in The Departed that I do like better. I do think Infernal Affairs is just more my speed overall. And I will say this, I am not like in the insane minority by saying that I think Infernal Affairs is better. It does have people that bat for it. I don't know what the ratio is, but there are people who are just like, yeah, Departed, fine. Departed is fine, by the way.
Yeah.
I just think that stupid wigger is terrible. But I will say this. In terms of like our American mindset, some of the characters in The Departed are better than the characters in the Chinese version.
All.
No.
All of them are better.
No, I'll have to rewatch them to make a definitive list to tell you how wrong you are. But no, there are some in Infernal Affairs that are definitely way better.
I dare any listener to watch these 2 films and pretend that Infernal Affairs is better. I dare you.
Well, they will, because they don't have.
A couple of the things I want to mention about this movie that just are personal things. Number 1, when people mention good remakes, they never mention The Departed. When people mention...
they super do.
No, they don't.
They super do.
No, they don't. When people talk about movies, because there are some people who hold the opinion, especially people in like the YouTube film space, they hold the opinion that there's almost no good remakes. And when they mention good remakes, they talk about The Thing, because John Carpenter's Thing is a remake of the Howard Hawks film. They talk about... Oh, this shit. I've just left my mind. There's one other movie. There's a couple that are like the cliched, like these are the good remakes. And very few people ever mention The Departed as a good remake. And The Departed is a remake. It does diverge from Infernal Affairs a little bit. Despite what people might think, Monahan actually never even saw Infernal Affairs. He was given in his own words, a poorly translated script containing only dialogue. And he read it once and went, okay, and then made his own version. And structurally, this movie is very different from Infernal Affairs. Part of that because he's inventing his own plot because he didn't even have the action lines. He just had the dialogue.
Okay. And
also part of that being that he is using part of his own life again. I mean, he named the main character Billy.
Is that really, because of that?
His name is William, and he went by Billy when he was younger. And the character is about a Southie guy who drops his eyes when he's visiting his lace curtain Irish upper northern
I'm starting to see
family.
Because I was about to say Bill's a pretty common name, or William, but then I see what you're saying.
He named the character. He gave the character his name. His father was a working class Irish stiff who, just like DiCaprio's father in this movie, and so in some deleted scenes that are in the screenplay but didn't make the movie, and you can watch those scenes on the DVD, is a working stiff guy who's like one of those, it's like a Good Will Hunting thing, where Monahan claims that his father was very smart, very well read, like a genius IQ, but like laid brick his whole life. It's literally Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
And his mother was like a well-to-do from a rich family, whatever. And he spent his weekends with his father and his weeks with his mother, and he was kind of splitting his time. And in the Departed, the reason why they think DiCaprio will be a good guy to do this undercover operation is because he's already living double lives for that reason. So Monahan, it was definitely a personal thing in that vein. I think also the score, I love the music for this movie. Howard Shore's score, the the Departed Tango, as it's called, the don't
remember the score, honestly.
It's very good music. I tried to sneak it into my wedding, but Victoria wouldn't. She caught it.
That was her line in the sand. She's just like, Caleb, I will say no.
She knows. She's like, Caleb, we're not doing that. Yeah. I did sneak some music in, but I can't cut that. But I wanted that to be like something that was. I'm like, we need to have this like during the like after we're like walking down the aisle, like maybe just some kind of thing where it's like we're transitioning to party vibes. I tried to put that in there, but she's like, the cover art for this is Jack Nicholson. I'm like, don't pay attention to that. Don't look at that.
He sings now. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, The Departed's a good movie. I like it a lot.
It is good.
I think anyone could watch it and like it. It is objectively like just super entertaining. It's deeper than people realize. It actually has a lot to say about like America and about life post 9/11. It has a great ending that people are just stupidly wrong about with the rat. Do you remember the ending?
I do remember the ending. What are they wrong about then?
People get so mad at the ending of this movie is there's a climactic scene, and then the camera zooms to the shot of you're in an apartment, and it has this beautiful view of like the Capitol building or whatever, and it zooms into a like medium shot where you can see through the window of the Capitol building, and then a rat runs across the camera. It runs about halfway down, stops, and then continues running. And the movie's about rats, there's all this stuff about like, I got a rat in my unit, whatever. There's these two people, one from the police force, one from the criminal gang, and they each have a rat in the other person's thing. It's the movie. People hate this ending and say it's like this dumb on the nose, like, ha ha kind of ending. It's perfectly fine. The movie has a playful, like whimsical tone to it. Like there's nothing wrong with having a rat run across the screen at the end. It's just like a cute little button.
I like the ending too. I agree.
There was a petition at one point to delete that scene from the movie on streaming platforms.
That's so fucking stupid.
It's so dumb.
They're acting like Scorsese like never has anything funny in any of his movies. It's the people who have just seen like only Taxi Driver and like Raging Bull. They haven't seen any of like the deep cuts.
Sure.
They haven't seen like Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, King of Comedy, that has like genuinely hilarious shit that goes on in it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, he wouldn't do that. Marty wouldn't do that. He's my friend. I know everything about him.
Yeah. People, in Django, where Tarantino shows up at the end, and he's like, all right, I'm going to throw this fucking dynamite at you. And he's doing like I just did a better Australian accent than Tarantino.
You did. You genuinely did.
He's doing a terrible, it's not like I'm great. He's just doing the worst accent ever. There was a petition to like delete that scene from the movie. Like the same thing with this. Like people are just like, that was such a shit in the ice cream. It's like, it's fine.
Well, Tarantino's is just self-indulgent. Sure. The problem people would have with The Departed, I don't, is that they probably think it's, like you said, too on the nose or just like too funny at the end, where they wanted something more serious and like not thought-provoking, but like you're meant to sit there like the end of Platoon and be like, whoa, which is not what they should do. And
speaking of the ending, building off of that, have you read Dubliners by James Joyce?
No. I know of that book. I haven't read it.
So if you read it, there is one character particularly that shares a name with a character in this movie. And the ending of this movie, if you've read Dubliners and if you know about Monahan and how much he loves literary fiction, there is an Easter egg, which is that the name of this character is directly tied to how this character's fate turns out. Because Monahan can't not write that in.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a good movie. Highly recommend. The rest of Monahan's career is complete diarrhea, though. I mean, he had Body of Lies, 2008. Shit. I don't have anything to say about it. It's just a boring movie. Edge of Darkness, starring Mel Gibson. It was Mel Gibson's first movie post-cancellation. Is his first movie in like 4 years after he said like the and sugar tits.
After he spoke the truth and everything.
Yeah. Yep. After he red pilled America and the you should just smile and blow me. You never heard that?
Is that from the phone call with his wife?
His voicemails, those are amazing. But his first film coming back was a Monahan scripted movie called Edge of Darkness with Danny Houston in it. Danny Houston is the villain in multiple Monahan movies. I don't understand it.
They must be friends.
They must be. And that sucks. London Boulevard, same year, Monahan's first directorial effort. It fucking blows. 2014, you have The Gambler, a remake of the 1974 film with James Caan. This movie it's okay. It's like Mojave. It has a decent script, but it's just kind of lifeless. It does have a great it probably has the best role that Wahlberg has done playing a person who isn't him. He's playing this like just depressed English professor, and he's not believable, I would say, because he's still Mark Wahlberg, you know. So he's like really breathy, and he's talking about like James Joyce. This stuff is important, you know. Like, it's
so you have a problem with Mark Wahlberg in this one.
It's an objective problem, I'd say. He's just miscast. He should never be playing that character. He does the best he can do for it. It's the best I've seen him do, playing a character who is, I guess, as different from his real life, like meathead idiot persona that he actually seems to have. But the movie is completely forgettable. 2015, you have Mojave, we talked about, and then nothing until he has 2 credits that come out the same year, Tender Bar and Marlowe. Let's talk about the Tender Bar, man.
I'm glad we're starting with this one. Tender Bar is very weird because I knew about William Monahan, like his style and the stuff that he writes about. This is just very far removed from anything I thought he would ever do.
Yeah.
This, first of all, my problem with this movie, I think it's fine overall. It's something that's like not offensive. It's directed by George Clooney.
Yes.
Which is like, come on. I did, first of all, real quick, I do have a problem with some of the direction in this movie. The entire time I was watching this, I'm just like, I would have done that better this way. I think you should have done this. It's hard to go into without talking about specific shot compositions, which would be really boring. And I didn't write down specifically, but I was like, this direction isn't great. But this movie is just very uneventful. It's based on a real memoir. And at the end of the movie, I kind of was like, okay, well, that happened. That is a story that someone has told. I don't know why I'm meant to care about this story.
Yeah, it doesn't really do a good job telling a story. This is like a Saturday afternoon, like if you're visiting for Thanksgiving movie where you're like, you're just waiting for dinner. So you turn this on. Yeah. It's inoffensive. It's light. It is very different from everything else Monahan's written. It's the only movie he's written that doesn't have a gun or a sword or whatever. It's a memoir of this dude who became like a journalist, I think. Yeah. J.R. Moehringer. Yes. Monahan was approached by Clooney. Or no, actually, no. He was approached by the producers, some producer who was attached to this project who was like, oh, this is set in Boston. Get William Monahan. And he wrote the script in like a week, and then it was never changed. And that shows. It's just kind of a bunch of nothing. There's, like everything with Monahan, there's some good scenes with some good dialogue. Ben Affleck is acting in this. Yeah, the first thing I wrote down, one of the first things, I wrote that I like how honest Uncle Charlie is, who's Ben Affleck's character. Mm-hmm. His character is one of the people who's just like, kid, I'm never going to lie to you. I'm not going to kiss your ass or anything. You don't know how to play sports. You got to read books because you're a smart kid. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, I do like that he had a character where he's just like, look, you're fat and stupid. Yeah. And he owns a bar called The Dickens. The Dickens. Okay. It's a closet full of books and you're like, William Monahan. Okay. Yeah. And over the course of the movie, I did warm up to Ben Affleck because he's not doing anything profound, but there were a couple like heartwarming moments where I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Mm. But overall, it seems like Ben's performance in this is like a response to him being the dumb guy in Good Will Hunting out of the two. Not that he's like dumb in that movie, but this is his movie where he plays a character who never went to college, owns a bar, but he's secretly like, a genius, but like doesn't want to show it. He's the humble genius. Which is just so funny to think of Ben Affleck. He's like a minor Will Hunting. Yeah. Yeah. This is good Charlie Hunting. Yeah. He's like sitting in the house, just chilling. He's just like, I've got the brown bottle flu, kid. He's just like, hey, go into my closet, read all those books and come back to me when you read them. Yeah. And it's like, I don't think Ben Affleck would ever be doing that. No, he's not a good actor in anything, but this is probably Monahan, I guess, has a theme. This is the best that Affleck has been playing a character who isn't necessarily him. I mean, he's playing a Bostonite, I guess this is kind of him. I mean, Ben Affleck just has the aura of just like a depressed Boston idiot. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's dating Latinas. Like, he's been like, you know about his relationship with Jennifer Lopez. I don't know a ton. I know that they were a thing, and then he married Jennifer Garner, and then they got divorced, and then he married Lopez, and then they got divorced like immediately.
They've been like off again, on again for like at least 15 years,
Yeesh.
Probably longer. But there's a famous video of like the paparazzi where he's walking her to the car, and she looks like, you know, when your girlfriend or wife is mad at you.
I know this video.
And she's just like very blank faced, and he like opens a door for her, closes it, slams it a little too hard, and just kind of is walking. Is like. Like, you know, old dude in pain who's just like, this fucking bitch.
Yes. He pushes her door with such gusto that like he's pushing it. And then once he's gotten to the point where his hand is past the door, his hand is like flying with such like ferocity that just like stop it and then like bring it back down to his side. And it's obvious that he's trying to push it hard enough that she's going to hear it slam. You can just tell.
Yes.
Watching it, like, I know exactly what's happening here. They are not happy with each other.
Yeah.
And then he goes around to his door, opens it, and then he looks at the camera and he sees that he's being filmed and he's like,
he's like, my stupid fucking life.
He's so depressed. He's one of the most funny people ever because he is just endlessly angry about the fact that he's a celebrity.
I believe him as a depressed bar owner who's juggling a lot. I don't believe him as this secret like 160 IQ genius.
Yeah,
who's like quoting like all these great authors.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, you're not.
He kind of has the Franco thing where like, he wants to be smart. He knows enough to appear smart. Mm-hmm. He knows the names of authors, but I don't think Affleck is that talented at anything. I think that Argo is kind of a fluke. I think the Gone Baby Gone is okay. I think The Town is okay. I think that Live by Night was fucking stupid. I think that Air is whatever. I think that Affleck is a bad actor. I think he's a okay director who had one of the best editors in the world working with him on Argo. He had a great screenplay. I think he had a great cast. He just kind of had everything working for him. That's just, you know, it just everything coalesced for him. But I think he really is just mediocre or below mediocre in everything he does.
Mediocre is the best adjective because I can't think of anything he does well. I remember watching Argo, and this is before I was conscious about like, you know, Oscar winners and stuff. Finished watching it. I think I rented it from like Blockbuster or something back in the day, if that was still around. It was like the end days of it. Anyway, I watch it and I go, okay. And I just did something else. I was like, the movie's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing is like inherently bad about it, but I know that is one of the best picture winners where people go, really?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's unobjectionable.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not the best movie from that year. It's like everything that wins Best Picture.
Yeah.
You can understand why it was popular. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, but, you know, whatever. And this movie, Tender Bar, directed by George Clooney, who outside of Good Night and Good Luck is a fucking abysmal director. Actually, I should take that back. He directed another movie called The Ides of March, which is good. But he fucking blows, man.
He's very stale. There's a scene, I thought of a scene that I thought I could do better with an example. So this movie is about a woman who moves into their grandparents' house, her dad's house, with her son, JR, who's the main character of the movie. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really know his dad, besides that his dad is the voice on a radio station.
He calls him The Voice.
The Voice. And now this is one thing that I thought you could do. This is one thing where I'm just like, oh, you should have done this. This was like an obvious, like artistic slam dunk. There's a scene where his dad picks him up and kind of just like drives him around the block in his car, and like, you know, a oneer that I thought was well done. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I thought you had a huge missed opportunity of not showing his face, like filming from the back, because this kid is like, I don't know who my dad is. Why would you not, you know, show the audience this?
Yes.
By like not filming his face the entire time, and the kid is looking at him, but we don't see what he's like until there's a reveal at the end. You immediately see him. This is like a film school mistake where it's like, oh, that should have been a layup. Where you're like, okay, yeah, you can do something artistic here that means something. But it's very flat. There's, no artistic, you know, twirls or anything where I'm just like, oh, George Clooney might have the chops. I was like, this is just so bland.
I agree 100%. And that is I think that's a smart observation. And I agree exactly. I think Clooney is an inept director. I think that the movies that he has that works, of which there's two, work just not necessarily that they're flukes, but just, you know, you have the right. Anyone could direct a movie well, because directing, like when we are making something, We are directing it, and if we are being stupid, it's going to turn out badly because there's just the two of us.
Yeah.
But if you're making a movie the way that Clooney is, you have so many people who are thinking of things for you, taking care of things for you, and the overall quality of the movie is not because of your labor of love. You're just the one saying action and cut. And when people say, should she wear this dress or that dress, you say they should wear dress A. You know, like his directing a George Clooney movie is not the same as directing like a low budget, you know, Harmony Korine film, let's say.
Sure.
It's a very different thing. Like you really are just kind of, if you're a great director, the movie will be better, but you can be just a complete hack who has no business being in that chair like Clooney. Him and Grant Heslov, his writing partner, who's directed some films he's in, and they always co-produce everything and they work on everything together. They are both without talent, in my opinion. And I don't know where Clooney gets this inkling to direct from, but he needs to stop. Everything he makes fucking sucks. I don't know if you watched that space Netflix movie he made.
The space one?
It's called, yeah. And I don't remember what it's called. I can't even think of it, but he's in it. He has like a beard and it's like in the Arctic and it's called like Space Radio.
What? I've nenever heard of this.
It's from a few years ago. Let me find it actually.
I'm so grateful I've never heard of this because this sounds like it would be a disease movie.
The Midnight Sky.
Never heard of it.
Bad.
I believe you.
And there's a book called The Boys in the Boat, which I own. It's down there on that shelf.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet though, but it's about like these rowers from UW.
Yeah,
I was a rower. My brother was, and I was interested in it. And it got turned into a movie starring Joel Edgerton, directed by George Clooney. And all his movies have the exact same response pretty much, which is people see it and they go, yeah, this is a Saturday afternoon I'm waiting for dinner movie.
Yeah. You know what's very funny? I was about to describe The Tender Bar as like a mom movie where she watches it just because she's bored. She's done with like the washing up and everything. And she's like, yeah, I saw The Tender Bar and it was kind of good. The Boys in the Boat is a movie where my mom was like, I'm excited for that. And I haven't seen it yet, Mom. I don't know what it is. Don't hurt me. But it didn't look interesting to me.
It looks bland. Everything Clooney touches is just a bland, forgettable thing. And The Tender Bar is one of them. And it's really interesting that Monahan wrote it because it's a movie about a kid who's like discovering literature and becoming a writer. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's the movie that Monahan should have the most to say. And the movie says exceedingly little. The movie is just kind of like it's not sketches, but it's just like little, every scene, nothing builds on anything else. It's just, here's a scene of this family member doing something quirky and the character is reacting to it. And then cut to modern day where, Taylor Sheridan? No, what's his name?
Ty Sheridan.
Thank you. I was like, I know that it's not Taylor, but I feel like it should be. Mm-hmm. Ty Sheridan is on a bus, and the scene where the priest is like, "What are you thinking about?" And he's like,
yes,
the past.
He has a literal.
Like, oh my God.
He has a literal like Irish priest. He's like, "What can I do for you, my son?" And I'm like, oh my God.
This is the hackiest writing.
I will say this: there were a couple lines that made me chuckle. One that I wrote down is, I forget who it says. They say it to Uncle Charlie, Ben Affleck's character, where he says, "What's a poem?" And he goes, "Somebody who's not Jewish." And that made me chuckle because of who we are.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's pretty good. That definitely is a William Monahan, like, here's my very smart joke that people who know will get.
Yeah. We're Jewish.
Yeah. There are some scenes in this movie that are just kind of bizarre where it's like, I don't get why William Monahan wrote this. Is he the only writer credited? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a certain scene where JR gets accepted to Yale. That's a big thing where his mom is like, "You're going to Yale or Harvard?" And he gets into Yale. He goes to a party and he meets this one lady who they instantly have a connection. She's pretty smart. They go back to her parents.
I didn't think you were going to say smart there when he said she's pretty.
Yeah.
There was a different adjective.
Yeah. A different descriptor word we've been using. People who know. But she's a very smart woman. At some point, they go back to her parents' house and just like have very loud sex. And then he stays the night, wakes up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, my parents heard you." He's like, "What the fuck?" So she just had extremely loud, like, ball slapping sex with this dude. And he has to like go down and like have dinner with her parents, who are like very like highfalutin old money types. And her dad's just like kind of reading the newspaper and he's like, oh, what do you want to do? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I want to write. And he's like, oh, cool. And they basically think he's a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
And there are certain scenes where it's like that entire thing. I mean, the whole point of that is to like, not focus on sexual relationships, focus on becoming like, the best version of you that you want to be and your career. Mm. But it's something where I'm like, I wouldn't have thought that William Monahan wrote this. If you gave me several movies, I think this may have been my last choice, depending on if you gave me like 3 random ones. Because this is nothing like anything he writes. I can barely like feel his voice in this.
It's a lifeless movie.
Yeah.
And not just in the way, I mean, in the way it's performed, it's pretty lifeless outside of Ben Affleck. And in the way that it's staged and shot, it's pretty lifeless all across the board. Outside of that, the writing itself, it's just, there's not really a story here. There's no plot. And you can have a story without plot because those are not the same thing. There's like no story. It's just kind of like this happens, this was said, this was observed. And I'm a writer now.
JR isn't interesting enough to have a memoir written about him.
Oh, he's terrible. He's one of the worst characters ever.
Did he do anything famous like besides this? Like, does he have a claim to fame? Like, did he publish like, I don't know, like the Watergate tapes or something or anything?
No, his claim to fame is writing a book called The Tender Bar about his claim to fame is his memoir. He just became like a journalist. He's just like a guy who writes articles like 15 ways to, cut your parents out of your life if they support Trump.
Like, I mean, all the good journalists, like I'll give an example of someone who actually deserves a movie or series made about them. God, what's his name?
Ariana Huffington.
No.
Dasha Naskova.
No, what's it?
Anna Karenina. Ben Affleck.
No, what's his name?
Matt Damon. Harvey Weinstein.
What's his name?
George Lucas. Steven Spielberg.
The guy who wrote Tokyo Vice. He's a Jewish guy.
Michael Mann?
No, that's the book Tokyo Vice. He's the Jewish guy. What's his name? Jake Adelstein. Okay, thank God. I don't know why the fuck I forgot about that. Okay. Jake Adelstein is an American journalist who went over to Japan and embedded himself, actually got a job at a Japanese newspaper. He's like one of the only white people ever to do that.
He embedded himself with Japanese people. He's one of the only ones.
One of the only white people to like Japanese people. No, but he gets a job at a Japanese newspaper, as a journalist. Uh-huh. And he's written several books about interesting things that he has done that actually warrant talking about. His first book, Tokyo Vice, which is fantastic, is him investigating a Yakuza boss who goes beyond like the realm of the government and is able to like get stuff that normal people wouldn't. Like, for example, he needs, I think, a kidney transplant, but he can't get one in Japan because he's a crime boss. So he manages to somehow get flown on a fake passport to, I think it's the University of Wisconsin or somewhere in America, jump the line and get a kidney in America and come back. Jake Adelstein is the guy to break this story. And this is a huge thing in Japan. This is like one of the biggest events of that year. And he still has like a contract on his head technically, but I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to like cash it, That is something where it's like, okay, this is a story that needs to be written because it is a crazy big story. Mm-hmm. I think we can both agree that JR hasn't done anything of the sort. And it's like, why are we even talking about this guy?
Yeah, Yeah. It's interesting that you say that his life, Jake Adelstein. Whatever.
Sure.
Jake, and I forgot, Jake Adelstein?
Yeah. Caleb, I said it 5 seconds ago.
I know, but I've been drinking Suntory.
We have been drinking Japanese whiskey, which is very Jake Adelstein coded.
Adelstein.
Yes.
It's funny that you mentioned Jake Adelstein's life is like in danger or that there's like a price on his head because as far as I know, Japanese guns are made out of like Play-Doh.
Well, yeah, they have
a strict ban on guns.
They do, but the Japanese gangs get guns through China and Russia a lot of the time.
I thought, well, I guess there's no way to actually enforce this, so it would be impossible. But for some reason, I thought there was like no guns in Japan.
Basically, to get a gun, you have to be a police officer. But there still is gun crime. There's like, I mean, it really is a handful. But even as like recent as last year, there are people in Okinawa, which is basically a, what people think is like a very beachfront vacation city, has military bases. As of like a couple years ago, there are like Yakuza who just walked into the middle of like an intersection and gunned a guy down and shot him.
Wow.
In like broad view of everything.
Wait, hang on. So if you can get a gun through organized crime, how come Shinzo Abe had to be killed with a gun made of like spare parts?
Yeah, that guy had like an electrical charge that shot like shotgun shells. You can get it through. There are hunters that have like hunting shotguns, especially in Hokkaido. But it is extremely hard to get a gun in Japan, and and they have like maybe in Tokyo they'll have like less than like 5 gun deaths a year. It's unbelievable for America. Yeah. I think even like my small town I grew up in had more than 5 gun deaths a year.
Rest in peace, Shinzo Abe. You were cool.
Best friends with the D-man.
Really?
Oh yeah, Donald Trump loved him. They were best friends.
Well, I know that famous image of them. They're shaking hands, and then he like looks off camera like, ugh, you know, he makes that face.
Yeah, that might have been like the first meeting, but him and Donald were like playing golf all the time.
Huh.
And I mean, they're both conservative party members.
Okay.
So
I don't know a ton about Shinzo. I just know he had a winning smile. But I remember that when Trump got shot through the ear, people made memes of Shinzo like guiding the bullet away.
Yes, you know? It was just like, Donald, go to the right.
And I just assumed, my dumb American brain, I saw that and thought, oh, well, he's the other politician who got shot. So like it's just a correlation, you know? Yeah. I didn't realize they were close.
Him and Abe were genuinely good friends. And I can tell that, I mean, I won't get too far into this, but I can definitely tell, like, of all the politicians that Trump had to deal with, like, you know, Angela Merkel and all these other people, that was like the one guy where he's like, damn, I wish we knew each other when I wasn't president. We could just hang out.
Sure.
Because,
Well, yeah, Shinzo seems cool. And I mean, all of the leaders, all of the like prime ministers, presidents, whatever leaders of all the Western European countries just look like such it would be so hard to be around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of them Macron, are just very... Macron and his
Keir
wife.
Starmer. Who's the guy before Keir Starmer? Don't mention Macron's wife because we'll get sued.
We will. The one before...
Boris Johnson.
The like Indian dude, Rishi Sunak.
Yes, the German lady...
Angela Merkel.
All of them, yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. All of them suck. They all look like terrible people to be around.
Well, because they're European and we're cool Americans.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Shinzo Abe is a real one. Marlowe.
Good pivot. Marlowe is one thing where I remember you told me this movie is fucking terrible. You need to watch it. I didn't know about the Monahan connection. This is before we even started the podcast. And I watched it and I thought, this is bland, kind of inoffensive. There are things I think are really stupid in this, but I didn't hate it. I know that you gave it, I think, half a star.
I would give this less than 0 if I could on Letterboxd.
Why?
I think this is one of the most like nothing movies I've ever seen. This movie has almost nothing about it that is... If the way that you reviewed movies was you had some kind of like level, like in construction, and it tilted slightly up if it was generally above average, slightly down if it was generally below, I don't think there's one quality of this movie that would on a level be at level or above. I think that everyone is horrifically miscast. I think everyone is giving terrible performances. I think every line of dialogue fails completely. It's trying, everything is just a cliche. It's a copy of a copy of a copy of a movie made in 1930. This movie is like a SNL sketch. It's worse than an SNL sketch. I think this movie has no redeeming qualities. It looks terrible. It looks cheap. It looks like no one gave a shit. It looks like no one was inspired. I think that the plot is I think that it is one of the most stupid, predictable, boring things. I think it has an ending that is unbelievably, unforgivably, like way too simple where it's like, and it's over. This is a horrible movie. This is an unredeemable piece of shit, in my view.
I agree with a decent amount of that. I don't hate it as much as you do, but I'm not going to defend it. I find it just inherently bland because there are a couple problems. So this is a noir on a character who already exists. I've never read any of the character of
Philip Marlowe.
I haven't read any of the books about that. I know he is a beloved character and there are successful books and I believe movies about his character.
The Long Goodbye, the Altman movie is the famous one.
Oh, that's him? Okay. I didn't remember that. But so many things about this are just so poorly done. First of all, I would expect a noir to be shot mostly at night or have some very good nighttime photography. There's maybe 5 minutes in the entire movie that are at night. And there are some that are indoors, granted. But in terms of stuff that's happening outside, most of it is during the day and Liam Neeson just kind of walking around and asking questions.
Yeah.
And it's not shot in a very like interesting way.
No.
The other problem I do have is Jessica Lange's character, who's an actress who I generally like. Mm-hmm. She's good at what she does. Yeah. She's meant to be an Irish woman. She cannot do her accent for more than half a sentence at a time. And I don't know what it is, because this should be something that you're like, when we were recording sketches, if we like dropped our like girl voice we were doing, we'd be like, let me do that again. Or you'd be like, hey, you missed it at that point. It is unforgivable at how bad her accent is. It is one of the worst accents I've ever heard, in the sense that, I mean, I could do a better Irish accent like more continuously if I had the practice and was getting paid for it.
And ironically, Liam Neeson is playing a like red-blooded American who is speaking with a full Irish accent throughout the entire movie. Yeah. And Jessica Lange, this is like, I mean, so we talked about this on the Naked Gun episode, but didn't get fully into it because we were saving Marlowe for this one. This movie is basically The Naked Gun, but without humor. But like in terms of how it just like The Naked Gun, it's just intentionally shot like, you know, it's silly, it's cheap, it's goofy. Like Marlowe is basically the same thing, but it's meant to be taken seriously. Like Liam Neeson, his dyed hair looks ridiculous in this movie. Forgot about that. He's supposed to be playing like a 45-year-old man. He looks like my 80-year-old like grandfather. He looks insane. He sounds old and tired. There's like the classic, literally what happens in The Naked Gun, where he goes into his office and the femme fatale is waiting to introduce this movie starts with the most cliched movie. If you're picturing a movie like this starting, you are absolutely correct about exactly what the scene is, who is in it, how they're acting, the flirtatiousness, my boyfriend has been missing. He hung out at the whatever club. It is the most cliched movie I've ever seen. I want to strangle William Monahan for a few seconds, the way that they do in Black Metal Veins, just enough to make him orgasm. I want to strangle him for what he did with this movie. This is unforgivable. And I do not use those words lightly. This is unforgivable. William Monahan will forever have a black mark on his name for me, which is that he wrote Marlowe. This movie, even if it were shot terribly and acted terribly and everything, but you could see how it could be better if it were in better hands because the script has something to it. No, the script is fucking terrible. You mentioned Jessica Lange's character. Her introduction in the movie is her like on a horse and she's like, "Hi, Philip Marlowe. I am the femme fatale's mother and I'm here to be mysterious." And you know what? Her next scene, and she doesn't have an Irish accent once in that scene. Her next scene is she's in a restaurant. James Joyce. Liam Neeson sits down and they like order something and she's quoting James Joyce because William Monahan, literary fiction. She's quoting Joyce in an Irish accent. She then keeps the Irish accent for the rest of the scene. She then, throughout the movie, every now and then when you see her, she speaks with an Irish accent. And I can't tell if she's supposed to be doing this banter that they have of this flirtatious thing where they're quoting Joyce, although she is like age appropriate to his character, yet he has a thing for the like Marlene Dietrich-esque performance by Diane Kruger from Inglourious Bastards playing the femme fatale. I forgot that movie. Was her. Yes. And he's like, he could be her father, but for whatever reason, he's not flirtatious with Jessica Lange, but she's doing this Irish thing with him. He's speaking with an Irish accent, which is never explained why he is. And he's not supposed to be doing that. He's supposed to be like Philip Marlowe, American.
Okay, Philip Marlowe is not like an Irish immigrant.
No, he's a character that is played by, in previous movies, Humphrey Bogart and not Eric Bogosian, but the other guy who looks like him from The Long Goodbye. He's in MASH. He's playing average American, kind of like down on his luck. Like in the 40s, this would be the Sigmund Grindset guy. He's the Rust Cohle of the 40s noir kind of thing, sure. You know, and he's just this silly, this feels like a Seth MacFarlane movie. His fight scenes are some of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen. And and people say this about anything they don't like. I'm not kidding. I've seen a lot of movies. These are some of the worst fist fights I've seen in any movie all time. And I'm counting Neil Breen.
Whoa. Caleb is going fucking crazy mode on Marlowe right now. I can tell because Monahan is your goat, and this is like watching him just shit into his own mouth. Yeah. You're like, please don't do that.
Look, I invented this advice. It sucks out of my ass and it shits into my mouth.
Hey guys, just to let you know, I attached a hose to my ass and shit in my mouth. Do you want to see?
I put my shit in my mouth.
That is the most foul visual. Hey guys, by the way, I've started shitting in my mouth. Give me $13.99.
The iron butt from SpongeBob, but it just sucks turds out of his ass. And it's like a male, like it's like those pipes that he used for like male things, you know? It just goes into his mouth. And he's like, I got my vitality. And he starts writing his new Marlowe script. Dude, he gave an interview. He gave like 2 interviews for this movie. And one of them, he said that he was predicting it was going to be a film series. And he's like, can you picture Liam Neeson as Philip Marlowe in a trilogy? I sure can. Fucking retire. He is, I don't know who took away his pills or who started giving him pills. I don't know what's wrong. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
I can't stop thinking about the turds. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
By the way, Nick.
Okay, hold on. Give me one moment, please. Oh my god, I need to catch my breath. That's so stupid. I'm William Monahan. Here's my turds in my mouth. Okay, I'm normal again.
This movie has a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Deserved.
which means 1/4 of the critics who saw this gave it a thumbs up. That is a war crime. You should be at Nuremberg if you gave this a thumbs up. This movie is objectively diarrhea. This is diarrhea out of my own ass. This is diarrhea out of my own ass into my own mouth. This is the animal from Futurama that shits and barfs out of both ends.
You sound like the fucking angry video game nerd. Like, this is a diarrhea dick shit out my fucking ass.
This movie is so fucking bad. And I know anyone listening to this, no one's seen this movie.
No.
Anyone listening to this, they go, okay, yeah, I get it. It sucks. I've seen movies that suck. No.
They're like, Caleb is crashing out and Nick is for like even entertaining this.
Oh,
fuck.
It's not very good though.
I don't like it. It's subpar.
And Danny Houston is doing his Danny Houston thing where, and again, like Naked Gun, he's the villain and he's the,
yeah.
Ugh.
You know what's funny? When you said that, I did try to think of a single thing that I thought was good. There is a scene where Liam Neeson is being driven by, I forget who the character is.
Alan Cummings.
That's right. He's been driven by Alan Cummings or maybe a chauffeur at night. And you do see the city reflected. And I thought that looked good. But this is one of the things where I'm just like, that shot looked nice. Everything else is at best.
So did you notice where they shot this movie? You're good at GeoGuessr.
Oh, they fucking, that's right. They didn't shoot it like in Los Angeles, did they? Is this a Canada?
This was filmed in Barcelona, Spain. And the idea was this will kind of, if we shoot this in modern Barcelona, it'll kind of look like how LA did back in that time period when LA had just been irrigated and it was a very like jungly kind of environment, kind of, but with that architecture. And it is kind of, it's decently passing for 1930s, I guess, LA. This movie though, like the visual style, the cinematography is terrible. But the sets themselves and the costumes themselves, I mean, this looks like actors in a movie. Every single person in it. Every person in it looks like an actor in a costume.
Yes.
But to this movie's credit, the decision to shoot in Barcelona, I think, is wise for if you have a low budget and you need to shoot a movie that looks like LA at that time period. They did a decent enough job. You don't really think about it.
Historically, yeah. I mean, California was owned by the Spaniards up until a certain point. And if you're going to have architecture that looks a bit old even at that time, Spain isn't a bad choice. Here's the thing, though. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to where this is filmed. It just looked like sets.
It looks fakeish.
So I was just like, this probably is just on, one of the lots.
It looks cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they didn't build sets ever. It's just that when they're outside walking around where you can't afford to just build a fucking city, that's just Barcelona. With CGI and the when they use CGI, I mean, the opening scene when he's in his office and there's that shot across the street of like downtown LA and it like zooms out into his office.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God. One last thing I want to say about Marlowe. The ending to me is so funny that the chauffeur grabs the Tommy gun and is like, say this in Spanish, and then blows the guy away.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about how in Mojave, he says brother every 2 seconds. This chauffeur ends every line with Mr. Marlowe. Let's get out of here, Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah, it's one of those things that
You're my favorite, Mr. Marlowe.
One of those things that makes you like very uncomfortable, where it's like almost a Roots-esque, like, Toby be good for massa. Toby don't do no bad. Toby good boy. It's like, yeah.
And how did you know where the key to the thing was? chauffeur you. I didn't know, Mr. Marlowe. I get to just intuition, Mr.
They
Marlowe.
pay me to think. Yeah.
Crazy.
That stuff always makes me uncomfortable. Where I'm just like, that's first of all, it's like, I mean, there definitely were people that probably talk like that, but it's like really in like now you're having a dude talk like that.
Yeah.
He probably would have talked like a normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to keep his like, airs on when he's just been held hostage and killed a guy.
Oh, golly gee, Mr. Massa.
Yeah.
Like he's literally doing like Nick Mullen slave bits. That's his dialogue.
He really is.
Yeah. Do you know what Monahan's working on right now?
I don't, and I'm scared to find out.
There is one project on his IMDb in development. Evel Knievel on tour, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
No. That's bad.
Can't imagine that's going to be anything but complete shit.
Caleb, I feel like I just saw your parents get into a terrible car crash when you tell me William Monahan is working on Evel Knievel. This is a William Monahan joint.
Yeah.
Is he just writing or directing?
He is writing the screenplay, and the other writer credited is Terrence Winter, who wrote a lot of Sopranos episodes. He created Boardwalk Empire. He wrote Wolf of Wall Street. Good writer.
Okay.
So it's two Scorsese writers working on Evel Knievel starring Leonardo DiCaprio, who's attached, which makes me think that old Marty himself may be attached at some point, which might say good things about the script. But the fact that William Monahan has been eating his own shit through a tube for like at least 15 years now, eesh.
I mean, saying that somebody has a Scorsese writer used to be an accolade, and then we saw The Alto Nights, written by Nick Pileggi. And
yeah, we did.
At this point, working on a Scorsese movie just doesn't mean anything, unfortunately. Having made like written actual good movies like William Monahan, like used to be thinking of like, oh, we have William Monahan attached to the project. If you told me now, hey, there's a new movie coming out with William Monahan writing it, I'd be like, I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see this. Everything I watch is a waste of my time and life from him. He's terrible now.
What do you think the problem is?
I think it's a couple things. I think number one, he sold out blatantly. I think that he doesn't have. He was hired to write Jurassic World, and his version apparently was so bad that they were like, we can't do this. He wrote. You remember that Tom Cruise movie Oblivion?
Yeah.
He was the original writer, and they were like, this is so bad, we have to rewrite it.
What the fuck?
Sometimes, it seems like sometimes people just realize that his writing is not very good, and they just go, we can't do it. And other times, people like George Clooney go, the tender bar, it's perfect, just shoot it. Or, I can't remember his name, Neil something, who did Marlowe, just, oh my God, it's brilliant, shoot it. People, I think that the fact that he just had such success right out of the gate just makes people trust him. But I don't think his well is that deep. I don't think he can write these kinds of movies. I think he should be a novelist. I think he should be doing in a novel what he was able to pull off with a lot of help from the directors and editors in Kingdom of Heaven and Departed in the novel form. I think he should be doing work that is funny, that is self-referential, idiosyncratic novels, because his novel is really good. And the things that really, really work about the writing in the movies of his that work are novelesque. And I'm not kidding when I say everything he's done since 2006 that's made its way to the screen is bad.
I'm sorry, Caleb.
We'll always have Kingdom of Heaven.
That is true. Kingdom of Heaven. Yeah, if you take anything from this, just buy Kingdom of Heaven.
Buy Kingdom of Heaven. Watch The Departed. Mark Wahlberg is good in it.
No.
If you can find a copy of The Lighthouse, buy it. Keep it out of the sun. It's out of print. There's only so many copies left in the world, so cherish them because it's a good book.
That is true. If somehow any publishing company can get the rights, or wants to put the money forward, whoever owns the rights right now, do a second printing.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because it was published by Penguin, who's a very popular publisher.
Yeah.
The rights are currently owned by Monahan. The rights reverted to him and he took it off the market. It is his choice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if he's ashamed of it or what's going on, but it's his decision that you can't buy it right now.
Oh. That's weird. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
Is he, because I don't think he's ashamed of it by any means.
I don't know.
His mind, dude, his mind. It's like a tesseract. I can't make heads or tails.
Here's the thing, Nick. We'll never be able to understand the mind that typed out lines of dialogue in Marlowe and then said, yes, I'll submit this to the studio.
He's washed. The goat is washed.
He's washed. Patreon.com/YourOlderBrothers.
Your Older Brothers podcast on Instagram.
You can write in and tell us how good Mark Wahlberg is in The Departed at yourolderbrothers@gmail.com.
You could do that, but you could tell the truth and say how much of a fucking he is in that movie. A wicked, as you would say. That's probably the most we've ever yelled at each other, by the way, on this podcast. What was the other? We yelled about fucking Cate Blanchett and Blue Jasmine.
Which you're also wrong about.
No, I'm actually the rightest man ever. I'm the most right I've ever been on those two things.
You think Art the Clown is good cinema? You're stupid.
No, I think Terrifier 3 is good for a horror movie. Okay, first of all, what is that fucking question?
Case.
Art the Clown is good cinema? That's like saying Michael Myers is a good movie.
Yeah, you do think that.
Halloween 1's good.
Let me ask you this, Nick. What would you rate Michael Myers out of 700?
If you could rate Marlowe like a low score, if you could rate it 0 as the lowest, what if you could rate it -1 million? What if you could rate it negative infinity? Would you do that? You fucking moron. Think of the worst number ever. And then what if you got a worser number?
If it were up to me, I would give Mark Wahlberg 100 bajillion out of 100 bajillion.
Out of 6 quintillion. Oh my god. No, but Mark Wahlberg does suck in The Departed.
He's a bad actor in most things, but he works in a few.
Okay.
What else does he work in, actually? The Fighter? He's fine in that. Boogie Nights? Good.
Yeah.
He's kind of mid.
He's mid.
Yeah.
Okay. We can leave it at that. We can put our guns in our holsters. He is mostly mediocre.
Okay, what would you rate his performance out of 10 in The Departed? Nick, I have a gun pointed at your head right now. You better be careful.
You shoot me in the head, it's going to trigger the finger action. It's going to shoot you in the head more. It's going to shoot you 20 billion% more.
No, I'm going to shoot. My bullet is going to go through your bullet, like in the Suicide Squad in that stupid movie.
But my bullet is a bigger bullet. It's a more bigger bullet.
That means my bullet goes through your bullet better and it explodes the whole thing.
No, mine's a more denser bullet, so it actually takes your bullet and carries it into your head and kills you more.
I'm going to shoot you the way that Mark Wahlberg does, or at the end of The Departed. You're going to come home and you're going to have like bottles of alcohol from the food and wine store or whatever. I'm going to fucking dome you.
But what if I dodged
disrespecting my guy? Do like Matrix.
Yeah, what if I dodged it and I caught the bullet and I threw it at you?
That would be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet.
All right, rate it 1 out of 10. Rate it 9 out of 10. From 9 to 10.
Rate it from 1 to 9.
How good is it?
Rate it from 6.5 to 3.
From 9 to 10, how good is he in this movie?
5.
Dude.
In The Departed, he's a 5. That's not as abysmal as we were yelling at each other about.
He's one of the highlights of that movie.
Okay, what is he out of 10?
10. No. No. I mean, you wouldn't come out of that movie and say, you know what? I saw this movie and Mark Wahlberg stole this shit. You know, you wouldn't necessarily say that about it, but I think for the character he's playing, he's at least an 8. He's doing exactly what he needs to. And I think that you just watched it and you just started picturing Mark Wahlberg in his underwear because you watched the Marky Mark Calvin Klein commercials because you're gay. And so you were distracted by that. And you were not paying attention to his acting in this film.
No, the truth is, Caleb, I'll admit it here. I am a Vietnamese nationalist, and I am doing this as retribution for that guy whose eye he punched out of his head, or whatever he did.
I think he like beat him with a stick.
Yeah,
he hit him so fucking hard with like a little stick that it blinded the man.
Yes, and they kind of gave him a chance to apologize after it happened. He's like, fuck no, I hate them. And they're like, whoa, hold on, wait, you made it worse.
And then he's in Flight Risk, directed by Mel Gibson. He's signaling which side he's on.
Oh, you know? I see. Yeah. He has his own clothing brand now, which looks fucking wigger as fuck.
He has the prayer app.
Yes. Oh, my favorite thing is he's in it's called Municipal, I think, is his clothing brand. But he is like doing videos because he's like, a huge Catholic. And he's like, we staying prayed up here. We're blessed up today. Make sure to the J-man. And it's like, okay, it's all optics for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, his daily routine is such a lie. I wake up at 2 a.m. and I pray, and then I work out, then I make breakfast for my kids. I take them to school, I come back home, I work out for 8 hours, then I pray. Then I pick up my kids from school, I make them dinner. Then I pray, and then I work out, and then I go to bed for 2 hours a night, 7 days a week, 24/7. Christ is king.
That's such a lie, like the fucking Hunter S. Thompson diet.
I'm so happy that you know that that's fucking bullshit. I know, dude, I know somebody who believes in that. And I was like, you know that would kill you after like a couple weeks, right? Even if your heart was as strong as a horse. He's like, no, man. I'm like, he's getting no sleep. He's apparently doing all the drugs on earth, eating like literally like food that will stop your arteries.
He's eating onion rings and hamburgers and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, doing coke and weed.
Yes. All day, every day. No.
Yes. No.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about Marky Mark is I do believe he would have stopped that plane from going into the towers.
That's so funny. Wasn't his quote like, he's like, if I was on that, because he's talking about United 93, wasn't he going to be on, no, he was going to be on one of the planes that hit the towers, right?
I believe so. One of them, at least.
So was Seth MacFarlane, by the way.
Yes.
TED connection. And Seth like slept through his flight. Mark Wahlberg just canceled his flight. That's so crazy. Can you imagine if that had happened? But yeah, he's like, if I was on that plane, different outcome.
I believe that. I do believe that.
What do you think the outcome would be? He'd fly it even harder into the plane, into the towers?
I think so. They had box cutters at the most.
There were box cutters found on the street along with their perfectly intact passports. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're Saudi passports.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, because there are probably, I think, 4 hijackers on each plane. There's like
something like that.
There's like 13 in total across 4 planes. I think he would have, at the very least, before anybody could figure out what was going on, taken 2 of them out. And then once the hijackers turned around and go, Abu Baba, people probably would have jumped in and been like, okay.
He would have joined. He's such a coward.
He would have joined in.
He would have joined Al-Qaeda. You're like, let's take it back to your homeland. We'll land. I got influence. You'll get a free Xbox out of it. Like, he would have immediately just tried to save his own skin. He's such a fucking piece of shit.
They're on the intercom being like, we are going to board the plane. He goes, what? No. Like in the happening. What? No, you can't do that. No. And they'd be like, Marky Mark, I respect you for your music. Okay, we have to get off this. We can't. We said our outro like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But
9/11 was what, Nick?
Completely how the media tells you it is.
No. It was a
inside jump.
No, it was a
false flag.
There we go. Very good. You can now leave my apartment.
Investigate Building 7.